hopefully with the people who got their children taken away. I'm glad that it happened with me because it's easier for me to show them how to do it by me doing it and then just watching them cut, copy, and paste what I do instead of me trying to explain to parents, well, this is what you need to do. Because most parents think that they're going into family court or they think they're going into domestic court or domestic relations court, and it's not really a court. It's a quasi-court. The quasi just means similar. It's similar to that of a court. But like I said, if you actually go online, you can even go to Wikipedia if you're not really good on the Internet. You just go type in quasi-criminal or quasi-court, and you'll see that it says family court is a quasi-court. It's kind of like a court, but not really. You don't have rights. You have the rights that the judge gives you. You can speak when the judge lets you speak. You're not really a defendant because you really haven't done anything wrong. Yes, they charge you with abuse and neglect, but they're not really charging you criminally. You know, it's just like just a family getting together, and, you know, you're talking to some great-great-granddad or great-great-grandma who's still in charge of the family, and she's laying down the law and telling you when you can have your children, when you can't. It's like, hey, old lady, who do you think you are? Oh, I'm the judge. I'm the great-great-grandma, and everybody's going to do what I tell them to do. Hey, no, I ain't playing this game. Get me over to a real court. I ain't playing this. Get the hell out of my life. And that's the problem is parents really think that they're in a real court with a real judge, with a real bailiff, with a real, because it looks like court. I mean, Gus was talking about that they shouldn't even be holding these family proceedings inside of a courthouse because it's tricking people. It's very deceptive. You actually think you're in a court, and you actually really think that these people have control over you. And I know Gus and I was talking about that they should hold it like at a social services building or something like that. They should hold it at wherever social services works. But people should just go into a meeting room and discuss what should not be done. But ultimately, the parents, you know, it's theirs. They created it. Ultimately, they're the ones who have the ultimate say whether or not they're going to take the help from the government or not take the help. But the government's trying to force them to take help. You know, something that the government has absolutely no interest in. And interest means that they didn't put a dollar amount in. They didn't actually put, you know, say that they put in, you know, $50 into your kid and $50 million into your kid. They didn't put anything into the kid. They can't show receipts. They can't show proof that the government ever gave you a dime, you know, to raise your kids, pay for your hospital bills for your kids, you know, pay for their birth, pay for anything. So if you got nothing invested in something, like if you didn't buy that house, well, you didn't buy that car, how dare you tell that guy what he can and cannot do with his car? How dare you tell that guy what he can and cannot do with his house? Did you pay for that house? No. Did you give him a down payment or something? No. Did they borrow something from you? No. Then who are you to tell them what to do with that house? You know, are you gonna tell them what to do with the house? Oh, okay. So when you tell them what to do with this house, if something goes wrong, are you going to be held liable? Are you going to fix the guy's house when you tell them to do this and something goes wrong? Are you going to be liable for damages? You know, they'll be like, well, absolutely not. Well, then, you know, thank you for your lovely suggestions or your advice, but, you know, I'm going to do what I wish. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. So, like I said, it's quasi. So, like I said, when I let a note to the judge, I'm going to just write a nice note saying that, thank you for your quasi advice and thank you for all your quasi opinions and thank you for your quasi rulings and your quasi orders and, you know, those quasi little meetings you've been having. But obviously, it has nothing to do with, you know, I as a man and that which is mine. You have no interest in my property. You have no interest in those children. They have nothing to do with you. You know, they're not yours. They're mine. You know, I'm not asking you for your opinion. I'm not asking you for advice. I'm not asking you for any help. So, I actually prefer that you keep your opinions to yourself and stay out of my business, out of my personal affairs. You know, this is under my domestic control. This is under my domestic authority, and you're trespassing. So, if you have it within your power to return to me that which is mine, do it. If you don't have that within your power, then you can disregard this letter. But like I said, I would love to hear her say, no, I don't have the ability to do that. Oh, I don't. You're the judge in this matter, and you don't have the ability to return to me what's mine, or order the other side to return to me that which is mine. You don't have that ability. Well, then who does? Oh, it's going to be great having them try to answer a question like that. Well, then who does? If you don't, well, then who does? Who's going to determine whether or not I get back my children? I want to love to see that freaking answer. I'd love the judge to say, oh, I don't know, man. It's not me. Oh, really? It's not you. You're not the one who's holding a gun to my head and say, if you go near those kids, we'll have the policeman arrest you immediately. If you don't do exactly what I tell you to do, we're going to have the policeman take you away. Or have the cop, if you come too close to kids, we'll have you shot and killed. If you try to touch them and drive them away, we'll shoot you. So who's the one who's going to tell cops to keep me from coming near that which is mine? Who's the one who's pointing the gun at me? Is it you, Judge? I think it's you, Judge. It's like, no. Well, then tell me who it is. They're going to tell us it's social services. Oh, really? Social services. Well, good, because I already got a letter going off to the man who's in charge of social services, who also happens to act as the governor of the state. There's also the man ultimately in charge of social services. So, like I said, it's going to be funny when I start dealing with the governor's office, and they're going to say, why are you going after Terry? Why are you going after the man Terry? I was like, well, he's the governor of the state, yeah. And under the executive branch, social services lies. So social services is under the executive branch. It's under his control. So he's acting as a governor. He's got certain duties and obligations to not cause harm to man. And I'm telling man to man, you got a little monster called social services, and it's out of control. It just took in my, children. It just took in that which is mine, and it won't return it. And he could just come up with any damn excuse he wants. And I'm going to say, I haven't done anything wrong. And he's going to say, well, nobody's saying he did anything wrong. Okay, then why do you have my kids? And he'll say, well, they need him for a police investigation. Oh, really? They need him for a police investigation. And again, what does that have to do with me? Do they have to do with my police investigation or your police investigation? Well, it's the governor's going to say it's the state that's investigating. That's right, the state. And I'm not a member of this state. I'm not a member of this county. I have no concern. I couldn't care less about your police investigation. It has absolutely no concern to me whatsoever. So you're going to have to give me that back, that which is mine. You're going to have to compensate me while you're keeping that which is mine. You can't just keep something from somebody else, say, because you need to use it. You need it to work with it. You needed it for your job. Oh, you need your kids to work for you, my kids to work for you, my kids to perform for you, my kids to provide you a service? Oh, really? Well, who do you think's doing all their work when they're gone? I'm doing all their work. I'm taking care of their ponies. I'm taking care of their horses. I'm taking care of their chickens. I'm taking care of their dogs and cats. They're supposed to be doing this. Who's going to compensate me for doing all this? That's what they're here for. They're here to do work for me. They're my kids. I had kids so they could do work on the farm. That's what they have. That's why farmers have kids. They have as many kids as they can to perform as many jobs on the farm as they possibly can. So, and it's going to be interesting to see his answer, because when I take the the kids come back to me, and I just say, you know what, I just don't wish to be involved with this police investigation, and I don't wish that which is mine to be used in a police investigation. I don't want you to use anything of mine in a police investigation. You're going to have to do this police investigation all on your own, because I don't want to be involved. I got too many things to do. I don't want my kids to be stressed out. I don't want my kids abused by this ridiculous nonsense. I don't want my kids to have to constantly, be afraid. I mean, they're living on some strange person's house. It's funny, my mom asked them the other day, she went to visit them, and she said to the kids, how do you like it? Foster care, what do you guys do for the Christmas holidays? And one girl won't say a word to my mom. She just looks at my mom, but my mom said she just looks at me. She said she just looks at her grandma and doesn't blink. She sat there for an hour and didn't say a word. But the younger one, who's I guess 11, said, "Oh, foster care sucks." She's like, "Oh, so what have you done for Christmas?" She said, "We sit on our bed." So did you guys go out and play? No, we sit on our bed. Well, do you watch TV during the day? No, we sit on our bed. She sits in one bed in her room, and the other girl sits in another bed in her other room. My mom's like, well, do you guys go out shopping? She's like, no, we sit on our bed. She said, well, do you play video games or anything? She says, no, we sit on our bed. She said, my mom said, that's all you do? She said, yes, that's all we do. We sit on our bed. So for the whole entire Christmas vacation, they've been sitting on a bed. And they come out to eat, they said, and then they go back and sit on their bed. So, man, to me, it's like, no, that just sounds just like jail. You just go into your jail cell, you sit on your bed. You come out to get something to eat, or they bring the food to you, and you sit on your bed. So my kids, that's what they're doing. For whatever, 10 days, 14 days, 15, whatever, how many days they've been off from school, they just sit on their bed. One has one room and sits on her bed, and one girl sits in another room and sits on her bed. That's it. They don't hang out with each other, play, they don't do nothing. So it just makes me laugh. It's like, okay, so you need my kids for a criminal investigation for Frank. So Frank's sitting in a jail cell on a bed, and my kids are sitting in somebody's house on a bed. So you guys could do what? And then when you're done using my kids, then however many years, like the one guy in New Jersey, when he got charged with touching a 4-year-old, no, the 4-year-old touched him, whatever it was, that it took them 4 years to go to trial. 4 years. So if they're going to keep my kids there for 4 years just so they can have a trial, that's going to be crazy, because the kids obviously be 18 by then. Well, the one girl will be 18 by then. because the one girl's already 14 years old. So it's going to be funny that they're going to hold the kids for that many years just to have a trial. And I say, okay, what was the purpose of this? You know, we were talking about some mad Unabomber guy who was going around terrorizing people, chopping people up. What are we talking about? Why are we sitting around for 4 years waiting for you guys to hold your trial? Why? Because I was reading that man from New Jersey. Somebody sent me an article. I don't remember the man's name off the top of my head, but I'm sure who's ever listening is going to post it on the chat board. And what a hell of a story. It was some 4-year-old girl told the babysitter that she was hurting in the bathroom, and the girl said, why are you hurting? She said, did somebody touch you down there? And she said, yeah, you know, it's some newscaster guy on TV. So I guess the newscaster guy was their neighbor, and they had a criminal investigation. It was the most ridiculous investigation I ever read. And after 4 years, man, they finally went to trial, and the 8-year-old girl said, no, that man never touched me. She's just like, but I was told to tell them, you know, because they arrested the man, I was just told to just stick with my story, and I better not change my story. So she told the jury, and she's like, I have no idea how these people got me to say it when I was 4 years old. Nobody touched me. I didn't touch anybody. This is all crazy. And then the man said it's all crazy. So even though the state had no evidence, no facts, no pictures, no third-party impartial witnesses, they had no evidence of any wrongdoing, no evidence of any damage, the girl was still a virgin, the guy still got 20 years plus 1 day before he's eligible for parole. So he has to sit in jail for 20 years plus 1 day, and before he's even eligible for parole. And the 4-year-old girl who's now 8 said, that's crazy. He never touched me. And the guy said, I never touched her. Some babysitter just said, you know, that I did it. And everybody's believing the babysitter. And then they were saying that the babysitter had earlier been arrested for drugs or crystal meth or something like that. And she just made a deal with the state, you know, to avoid going to jail. That she, like what happened with your dad, it's like, find me five victims, find me 5 people that we could go after, and we'll forget about your crystal meth problem. So they did that to her as well, cut her a deal. Find me people that we could prosecute and put in jail. And she did. But they weren't allowed to mention that in the trial. They weren't allowed to mention that this girl was already in trouble with the state, and that she agreed to work with them. So obviously she was just saying, yes, absolutely, this man must have touched her because the girl said to me the man touched her. So they're going on the word of some bimbo babysitter who got arrested for drug problems. And for some reason, this guy's attorney must have been the worst attorney in the world. Because I was the attorney, I said, wait, first a second. First of all, you can't get an 8-year-old on the witness stand. They're incompetent. It's like putting somebody from an insane asylum on the witness stand. You can't do it. They're incompetent for a reason. They're incompetent. They can't testify. They're incompetent. Second of all, you need a third-party impartial witness. Does anybody have any third-party impartial witness that could testify that this actually happened between this little girl, this baby, when she was 4 years old, and this 30-year-old man? And then thirdly, he could have said, how about damages? Is the girl still a virgin? Yes. Is there any damages? Is her wrist broken? Did she get bruises, swelling on her forearms or something like that? Did her shoulder get out of joint? What are you talking about here? Any damages? No. No damages. No third-party impartial witness. An incompetent witness. No hard evidence. And nobody's going to come here and swear that this man has done anything wrong. What kind of piece of shit attorney can you possibly be to not understand those simple 5 elements that I just whipped out while I'm just sitting in my car thinking about it? How can't you do this as an attorney? How can't you explain to the jury they have absolutely no case? But if they let that man walk, since he was like on channel Fox News, he was a Fox newscaster, you destroyed his world, you destroyed his life by saying that he had a child touch him. And he said, that's ridiculous, no child touched me. You know, he had 2 boys of his own. He had a wife. He was a Marine. He was stationed over in Europe. He married the woman over in Europe, and he brought her back home to the United States. And he became a newscaster for Fox News. And he's like, this was ridiculous. You know, to even, you know, for such an accusation is just insane. So what happened to that poor guy is, like I said, he got 20 years in jail. And they told him he could have 7 years in jail, and they would stick him in a mental institution. There's special rehabilitation camps for these parents. You probably saw it on South Park, because you're that age that you had seen it on South Park like I did. There's special rehabilitation camps for these parents. They don't go to prison when they plead guilty to sexually touching their kids or molesting or indecent liberties with their kids, if they plead guilty, they go to some sort of reform school, re-evaluation, retraining camp. And then when they come out, they all just say, you know, they have to go to the victim saying, I'm so sorry, I abused you, I'm so sorry I molested you. Yes, I see what I've done now, and I'm guilty, and I'm so sorry for what I've done, and please forgive me. So they said unless they feel that you're 100% guilty, that you believe that you're 100% guilty, they won't offer that to you. But they offered it to the man. They said, look, if you plead that you're 100% guilty, you'll be out in 7 years. But you just have to go to one of these retraining camps, like reprogramming camps, you know, where we're going to get your mind right. And you're going to understand that, yes, you molested that kid, and yes, you're going to believe that you did it, and then when you come out, you're going to apologize for doing it. So he's like, that's crazy. I ain't doing that. So they said, well, they're going to stick him in general population for 20 years if he doesn't. And he said, well, take me to trial. So I don't know what kind of freaking, the jury could have possibly came back with a guilty verdict. What bunch of, I have no idea, the mentality of these people who could have possibly sat on the jury and said, okay, it was a 4-year-old girl. She's saying on the witness stand, this man never touched me. And the prosecutor's like, well, you know, you're just saying that he didn't touch you because you're scared of him. She's like, no, I'm not scared of the guy. She said, no, you know, I haven't seen him, you know, 4 years. I'm not afraid of him. She said, they told me that if I didn't say that he touched him, my babysitter said she was going to shove cheese down my little brother's throat. My little brother hates cheese. So my babysitter said that she was going to shove cheese down my little brother's throat. And that's on my house making that noise.
Oh, sorry, that's mine. My dog's
okay.
out.
Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, I just want to know because everybody knows I have dogs. Because I just stepped out a couple minutes ago. I don't know if you heard me step out through my base of food. So it's just funny. Oh, yeah, that's right. What they said, too. They said they found kitty porn on his home computer. What was funny is his father-in-law lived at the house, and his father-in-law said that it was the father-in-law's kitty porn and that his son-in-law, the man who got arrested, told him to get the kitty porn off that damn computer, the family's computer. And the father-in-law said, okay, I'll get it off. So, but the father-in-law never got it off. He just said he cleaned it up, but he never cleaned it off. So then the dad, you know, the guy actually went to jail for 20 years. They, you know, said that he tried to erase the hard drive, which is funny because they said that it's funny that, see, the people in the jury wasn't explained and the man who got arrested wasn't explained. He said he did a restore. And I was like, restore? Restore doesn't wipe out pictures. Restore wouldn't wipe out a video. So he's charged with, you know, tampering with the hard drive by trying to restore it. I said, wait a second, restore just gets rid of programs. Restore doesn't get rid of photos. So what are they talking about? Well, he restored it at one point, so see, he was trying to get rid of the evidence. It's like, well, then he's about the stupidest computer guy in the world because everybody knows restore doesn't get rid of photos or videos. Restore gets rid of programs. So if the guy really wanted to get rid of it or tamper with it, the guy would have just, you know, smashed it with a hammer and called it a day. Like I said, this guy must have had the world's worst attorney because that's what I say to people. If you have an attorney, they have to work with the judge and they have to work with the state or they're going to be disbarred. Because if this man did not go to jail for at least 1 second, the state or the county, whoever is prosecuting him, would have lost millions and millions of dollars for damages because they damaged the poor guy. So they have to find them guilty. They don't have a choice. They have to find people guilty who are there destroying their lives. It's like somebody like me. When they took my 3 kids, they had to find something on me, and they couldn't find a bloody thing in my past. Oh, it drove them crazy. They took a look at me and they said, oh, this guy's on America's Most Wanted. Oh, this guy had to belong to some biker gang. Oh, this guy had to make crystal meth. Oh, this guy must have done armed robbery. Oh, this guy must have, you know, done mutilation, strangulation of women. Oh, this guy must have been a horrible monster in his past. Look at him. Just look at him. And when they ran my background check on me, and that was great, at the 30th hearing trial I was at, I said to the state, because finally I had to get a decent judge in there, I said, hey, tell the judge the truth. You ran a massive background check on me, didn't you? They said, oh, yeah. I said, you studied every damn thing, where I was born, my schools, everything. You looked everywhere to try to find some dirt on me, couldn't you? They said, yeah, we did. I said, did you find anything? They said, no, we didn't find a bloody thing on you. I don't belong to a biker gang, no child molesting, no raping, murder, no pillaging villages, no, selling crystal meth, no crazy biker gang activity. Nope. Couldn't find a damn thing on me, could you? Nope. Squeaky clean, other than moonshine for those Indians, right? Yep. It's like, there you go. It must drive them effing crazy that they can't find anything that I've done wrong in my whole entire life. They figured, this guy definitely went to prison for at least a couple of years or something. Nope, not a damn thing other than moonshine. Nope, not a damn thing other than making moonshine for Indians. I was teaching them how to make their own alcohol. I wasn't charging them nothing. It was their own damn corn and, it was their own flour, it was their own sugar. I showed them how to take all that stuff that the government was giving them every month for free and show them how to make whiskey out of it. And the government didn't appreciate a white guy teaching Indians how to make whiskey. Oh, well, but that's it? That's the worst that I've done? Yeah, well, sounds like a hero. Sounds like a nice guy to me, trying to teach Indians how to deal with the white man telling them no. So we're going to avoid dealing with the white man altogether. We're just going to make our own damn whiskey.
Hey, Cal, I'm back on.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say, too, right, I'm just trying to say that the government, once they destroy somebody's life, like they steal your children, they destroy your world, and then they have to find you guilty of something. Because how do they justify just coming in, destroying your world, and not compensating you? What makes them think they could just come in, destroy every single thing in your house, and say, oops, oh well, we're the government. We were just investigating, and we were doing it because we believed it was the right thing to do. Dude, you just destroyed my house. You came into my house and you destroyed it for 6 years. I had a nice little house, nice little family thing going on, and you took my kids for 6 years. What did you find? Nothing. Did I lose legal custody of my kids? No. Did I lose lawful custody? Well, no. So you just flat out took them from me. Well, we're going to say that you voluntarily gave them to the state, and we're going to make them a bullshit contract. But my name's not even on that contract. Well, that's neither here nor there. Well, when are you going to compensate me for the wrong that you did? Well, we're just hoping you can never move this through the court. We're just going to hope that you can never actually figure out how to actually get your own court going and get a judgment against us. Oh, so is that what I got to do? I got to learn how to move my own court and get a judgment against you. Is that what it is? Well, yes, that's what it is, because honestly, nobody in the government is going to help you collect a dime. I mean, no attorney is going to help you collect a dime, because if the attorney shows you how to collect money against the state, they're going to be disbarred. And just like when my wife and I were going through this nonsense back in Alabama, her attorney did not realize that me and her got along fine, and my attorney didn't realize that me and the wife had got along fine. So when my attorney told me he's going to throw her to the bus, and she's going to lose, we're going to take it out of family court, bring it to probate court, like a real court, and we're going to go through a divorce proceeding, and the probate judge is going to give you your kids back to you, Carl, and you can take them out of Alabama. And then whatever you and her decide to do once you leave Alabama, that's between you and her. I said, well, I'm going to have to tell her. And I said, tell her? No, you can't tell her. I said, well, what am I going to tell her? That I'm going to divorce her? He said, well, yeah, tell her you divorce her, but, I'm going to have to tell her that I'm doing a pretend divorce, that I'm not really divorcing. I'm just doing it to get the kids out of family court and get them into probate court, where the judge is going to give me the kids. And he said, you can't do that. I said, well, you didn't tell me that, you didn't know that me and my wife get along fine? They were like, yeah, we didn't know. They said, you haven't seen her in almost 2 years. I said, that's right. She went back to Alabama to try to do it through the legal way. She's doing all the family classes, family counseling. She got the apartment. She got the job. She's doing everything the social services is telling her to do. She wanted to try it the legal way. So I told her, God bless her, go. Go do it the legal way. Go do it the way social services tells you to do it, and see if you ever get your kids. She only had 2 of them at that time, and 2 of them with me. She has 3 with me altogether. So after 16 months, she said to me, Carl, I did everything they told me to do. They told me to leave you, to leave your family, to not communicate with you and your family, to do family classes, drug classes, alcohol classes, family classes, anger classes, parenting classes, every kind of class. She said I did every single class they wanted me to do. In 16 months, I did all of those classes 3 times over, each class 3 times, because every 6 months they said, well, you're going to have to, since you didn't get your kids back, you're going to have to do the class. And since you didn't get Cole, and the girl's name is Colette and Cameron, Colette and Cole, you didn't get those kids back. You got to do, every 6 months, you got to redo the classes. So she did the classes 3 freaking times. And she finally called me up on Memorial Day weekend one year after 16 months of not seeing me. She said, Colette is 16 months old. She was going on to be 2 years old. And she said, they haven't allowed me to see. She was taken a couple of days after she was born, too, about 2 weeks after she was born. Mary brought her down to Alabama to show her off to her family. I said, don't go. But I was in Florida, and I told her, don't go. She says, oh, they hate you, Karl, in Alabama. They don't hate me. I'm an Alabama girl. They love me. They just hate you. I'm just going to take the baby down, and I'm going to show them around to your family and, her family. And she was going to meet up with me in Florida. I said, don't come to Florida. I'm bouncing around from motel to motel. I'm working. And she said, oh, we'll stay in the motels with you. I said, that's no place for a wife and a kid. She said, that's okay. I want to be with you. I don't want to be on your mom's phone up here alone. I said, I'll be home soon enough, maybe 4 or 5 months. And she's like, no, I'm going to come to you. It's like, no, don't come to me. Stay there. It's safe there. Nope. What did she do? She went to Alabama. The very first day she came down to Alabama, she got there at 9 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning. The cops came kicking in the door. They took the baby away from her. So I told her, I said, Sue, it has nothing to do with me. I said, they want those babies. And I said, you keep popping them out, they're going to keep taking them. And she couldn't believe it. And I said, yeah. I said, you have no, core support down there. You have no family, who's going to back you up. I said, you're a woman on your own, and they're going to just eat you for lunch. I said, they know that you don't have, a huge extended family. They know you're not a member of a church, and all the church people will get together and fight for you. They know you're just one woman against them, and, and your attorney, who's a clown. So after 16 months, she said to me the only way that she was able to see Colette was in a Polaroid that somebody took of her on Easter Sunday, and the baby was just wearing a diaper. Wasn't wearing an Easter dress. It just said Easter, whatever year, 2004, 2005, whatever it was. And she sent her a Polaroid picture of her kid. She said, that's all I've been able to see of my baby, who was only 2 weeks old when it was taken away from her in 16 months. She said, Karl, they're full of shit. They're not going to help me. I'm never going to see my kids. You're absolutely right. This has nothing to do with you. I thought it had to do with you, but I haven't. I said, I haven't spoke to you. I haven't spoken to her in 16 months. Didn't try to communicate with her. Didn't try to find her. I said, no. I said to my mom, let her do her thing. None of us are going to get involved in Alabama. None of us. I said, we're all just going to let Cole and Colette sit there and let Mary try to win them back through social services. We're going to drop out of the picture completely. And we're going to let the mother work with her beloved state of Alabama. She's a sweet home Alabama girl. They love her. She loves them. Let her work with them. Let her get the 2 kids back. They're supposed to help her get housing and education, car. They promised her the moon and the sun, the stars and everything. Just let her see that they're full of shit. So it took her 16 months before she realized, Karl, they're full of shit. And she called me up. She found out where I was staying. And she called me up. She says, man, I am so sorry. I'm so wrong. I said, that's okay. I said, you had to do what you had to do. You're a mom. You had to throw me and my family under the bus. That's fine. You're trying to get your kids back. That's okay. I got to forgive you. If I was a woman, man, I'd probably do that too. I said, that's just a woman's prerogative. I said, I'm a man. That's abhorrent. I would never even imagine doing such a thing what you did. But you're a woman. If that's what a woman feels inside, that's the right thing to do. Who am I to say, God designed you to, stab everybody in the back to get what you want? I said, I believe that's a woman's prerogative. That's what you do. That's what you do. I'm not saying you're good. I'm not saying you're bad. I'm saying, hey, God made woman. God made this and God made that. He made you your style and made me my style. I would never do what you did. But you tried it and, it didn't work. So now you want to go back to doing it the way I want to do it? And then she was like, yeah, sure. But at that time, she had gotten her own attorney, and her own attorney made a deal with my attorney. It was just bad timing for those attorneys because they didn't realize we had gotten back together that weekend. It was the first time in 16 months. And my attorney called me up on a Monday, Tuesday, and told me what was going on. He said, man, I got a great game plan, man. What? Her attorney's going to throw her under the bus. What? Don't throw her under the bus. What do you mean throw her under the bus? Yeah. She's going to, not even know what hit her. We're going to move this so fast through probate court with my friend judge. You're going to get these kids to be out of here before she even knows what the hell happened. I said, I get along with her just fine. They're like, I thought she hated you. Yeah. She's a woman. She hates me. She loves me. She hates me. She loves me. Come on. It's like me changing a pair of socks. She's a woman. Come on. One day she hates me. The next day she loves me. I said, it's no big deal. I said, she tried to work with your system, and she realized you guys are full of shit. So now she wants to come back and work with me. He was like, oh, my God. He says, you ain't going to tell her what we're going to do in probate court. I said, yeah, I am. He's like, why? He goes, if I tell her I'm divorcing her, if she finds out I'm divorcing her, it's going to break her heart. I said, he's like, well, so what? Let her break her heart. Nah, she's kind of suicidal kind of person like that. Her brother committed suicide. So I said, no, I can't do that. I said, her ex-husband, Scotty, he committed suicide. I said, over this nonsense. I said, I can't do that. I said, I'd rather lose the kids forever than have this woman commit suicide. I told her, where's mommy? Well, Daddy had to divorce her to get you guys out of state, so she fucking was so depressed she killed herself. Yeah, you're right. I said, I can't say that to the kids. I said, so you know what, I'm going to have to tell the truth, but I'm going to try to tell her, look, don't tell anybody that this is what we got to do. You got to lose in court. But honestly, as soon as the court's are brought up, I'm going to turn the kids over to you, and you can do whatever you wish. But honestly, I'm going to tell you, do not go back in Alabama. And he's like, you think she'll listen to you? I said, I don't know. All I can do is tell her the truth. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, as soon as I told the truth, I said, now don't tell anybody. She's like, okay, she won't. So she went right to social services. She went right to the social service court judge lady. And she told the social service lady that her attorney and my attorney were setting her up to lose the probate court. So obviously, my attorney and her attorney and the probate court judge were all threatened by the family court judge with disbarment and going to prison for doing what they were doing. So they all had to turn on me as well. So they had to turn on her and turn on me. My attorney and his attorney, they had to save their own asses from going to jail. My attorney had to explain to me why he had to throw me under the bus. He said, call, because you told Mary what was going on. And she went over to Linda, the social worker, and she went over to Judge Storm, and she told them what we were up to. I said, oh well. He says, well, that's why I had to throw you under the bus too, Carl. I said, no, I understand. Everybody's trying to do it for self-preservation. I understand what's going on. I said, I warned all these, man. I said, this stuff's getting too crazy. Just bail out. I said, you just, don't have to be my attorney no more. Just say, Carl, I got to leave, and just leave. He said, yeah, well, the judge lady told me I had to do what she told me to do, and she was going to take my 4-year-old girl from me. I said, yep. I said, you got a beautiful little 4-year-old girl. I said, I would, I guess you had to throw me under the bus. You threw me under the bus. I said, but it would have still been a good idea to tell me that you had to throw me under the bus. I said, I would have worked with you, figured out a way how you could throw me under the bus, but do it in a nice way. I would have worked with you if you told me that your kid was on the line. I would have fired you. I would have told the judge I want him fired. I don't want him no more. And that could have got you out of trouble instead of having to throw me under the bus. But like I said, it's just amazing how when these social service people or these people like what's happening down with you folks in Tennessee or what's happening with Frank, when the government comes in and they make these accusations and they it's like they're making it up as they go along. I mean, when I watch TV and I watch movies, I see how they do it in the movies or I see them on TV. They investigate. They get all the witnesses, all the evidence, get all evidence that they need, all the facts, and then they arrest the guy. Nowadays, it seems like they're destroying the people's world and then investigating to see if there's enough that they could actually charge somebody criminally with. So they're not even doing the investigation anymore and then getting all the evidence, getting the witnesses, getting the facts, and then arresting the guy. It's like first they arrest and then they investigate. But once they arrest, they realize their investigation better have a conviction at the end of it because that other person could turn around and sue. So it's like incredibly lazy. It's like they're just going to arrest everybody and say, okay, now we're going to investigate you and we're going to find the dirt on you. When we find dirt on you, we're going to stick you in jail for 20 years. So you better just say that you did it and go to jail for 7 years. If you say you did it, we'll put you in a nice jail. If you didn't say you did it, well, you make us take you to trial, we're going to put you in jail for 20 years. And like I said, this guy had such a shitty attorney that poor guy in Jersey, that when he got offered 7 years in a rehabilitation camp compared to 20 years in general population, his attorney should have went to the judge and said, this state of New Jersey just committed extortion. They just threatened this man that if he did not plead guilty, that this was going to happen to him. If he pled guilty, this is what was going to happen to him. The state has no ability to sentence somebody. It's for the court or for the jury or for the judge to decide, not the state to decide how many years you get. So the state actually said that they were going to give this man 7 years if he pled guilty. That's not for the state. That's not for the prosecutor to decide. That's extortion. That's communicating a threat, saying, look, if you don't give me $500,000, I'm going to break your legs. If you don't plead guilty, I'm going to throw you in general population for 20 years and see what they're going to do to you in general population. Because I'm going to say that you went in there molesting a 4-year-old and see what happens to you. So obviously that's communicating a threat. Obviously that's extortion. And for some ungodly reason, his attorney didn't just say, hey, judge, I was there. I heard him make this man this offer. That's insane. But obviously his attorney has to work with the prosecutor, and the defense attorney has to work with the prosecuting attorney because the whole legal society will go down. And this is what I was saying earlier to you, Paul. I'd love to find out, like I said, if for shits and giggles, I said to them, okay, fine, you know what? I want to play in your legal world. I want to be a legal person. I want to be a legal daddy. I want to be a legal father. Where on the ladder do I stand? Where on the pyramid? Where on a hierarchy of legalese, legal land, this legal court procedure? Where's my position? Where's my status? Where's my position or status of standing? Where is it? Am I at the top rung? Do I get to decide what happens with my kids? Well, no. Well, then who does? Well, then that would be the judge. Oh, okay, so that would be the judge. The judge would decide what happens to me, to my kids, or to me and my kids. Well, to both. Oh, okay. So then would I be just under the judge? Well, no, because then it would be the state prosecutor. He would be just under the judge because he's the one telling the judge what the state recommends. Oh, okay, and then where would I be? Would I be under the prosecutor? Oh, no, we'd get you you'd have an attorney because you can't speak as a man in court. You'd have to be legally represented, so your attorney would speak for you. Oh, so I'd be under the prosecutor, yeah. So then I'd be under my attorney. Oh, yeah, listen, is there anybody in this court, this family court, that would be considered lower than me, that would have the less standing, less status, less position? Would there be any member of this court that would be lower than the father? Is there anything lower than the father in this courtroom?
No.
Or is there's the father the ultimate lowest? And then if I'm the father, I'd have the burden, though, of all the child support, all the court costs. I'd be the one who would have to pay for this little party, right? So I got no position, no standing, no status, except for the guy who's got to pay for all this crap. Would that pretty well sum it up?
Yeah.
And I'd love them to say, yeah. You know, and it's just like, why would anybody want to be part of that legal proceeding? Like, where is my standing? You know, and where's my status in this proceeding? To just shut up and wait until I'm told to talk? Or just shut up and never told to talk? Or just shut up and never have a turn at the table, except for the pay for all this?
Well, you got to keep asking for a turn at the table and raising your hand up is what you got to do in that world.
Right. Then even if I do raise my hand and say anything, would I just be totally, just totally dismissed? Like, yeah, great, wonderful. You know what? You're just a stupid dad. You just pay for all this. You go to work for 18 years and you pay for all this shit, and if you don't, we're going to throw you in a cage. You know, so like I said, it's a lot of fun. You know, that's why I wanted to ask them. You know, what would be the benefit of me entering your little legal proceeding? And part of me wants to just draw like a little pyramid. Where would my position be as dad? Where would I be in your little hierarchy? Your little, because obviously everybody in your court isn't equal. Obviously, everybody has their own status or level. When I call court in the common law, we're all equal. You're just as equal standing as me. The governor's equal standing as me. Everybody has equal standing. So you better explain in my court why you as a man or you as a woman, we all have equal standing. We're all equal in the eyes of the law. Why do you think that you could take and carry off with somebody else's, which is not yours, but which is clearly mine? You know, it looks like me, it sounds like me, it's got the same name as me. Is there some reason what you believe that you could just take and carry that off because I haven't done anything wrong, I haven't been charged with any crime, they haven't been charged with any crime, I haven't been charged with touching them? So explain to me, because you need them for a criminal investigation, I can't have them because you're afraid I'm going to screw up your criminal investigation? Well, you know what? You're probably damn right that I'm going to screw up your criminal investigation because there is no crime that's been committed. You got no third-party impartial witness. You got no hard evidence. You got no facts. Factually, he's innocent. And, you're wasting your time. You're blowing smoke up everybody's behind. You ain't got nothing. And you just hope you're grasping for straws. You're grasping that everybody's going to crack and break while you torture them. You figure if you can torture them long enough, man, they'll finally give in.
You hit the nail on the head there. Back in November, you know, my legal servant is still on the hook to me. And when all this mumbo-jumbo with the grand jury came down, he didn't even respond to my calls or emails for 11 days about Ian. And I said, look, when he did, I sent him the request. I said, well, if my son's got to appear at grand jury, then I want the right to appear there too. And I said, I want you to find out for me, I said, as the client, what my rights are. Can I go? Can I not go? And everything else. In the meantime, of course, I'd already downloaded the Grand Juror's Handbook. and all the stuff that went along with it, on what your rights were, can you go, if you're asked a question, can you leave the room, consult with your attorney, and then go back in there and all that kind of stuff. I already read all that stuff. But he never responded to my question. Never. And then when I went to the grand jury with Ian, and Donald got served that subpoena, this legal servant's on the phone to me, accusing me of pretending that I'm Donald Watson. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm not Donald. I said, and if you want to talk to Donald, I'll put him on the phone. He's right here with me. I said, but if you looked at us side by side, there's no question of a doubt, you'd know we're two different men.
Yeah. But the big thing, too, is when they were doing that with the grand jury and them, how far away was your attorney that you couldn't just go down there and get in his face?
Well, my attorney was probably about 5 streets downtown, about 5 blocks downtown.
Wow. So what I'm saying is, why didn't you get in his face and just ask him flat out, hey, look, you're going to ask these damn questions. I've been trying to get you on the phone for the last 20 minutes and I couldn't find you. So I'm down here in your office 21 minutes after that phone call. Is there some reason why I'm saying that you didn't go down to his office and stand in his face?
Well, I'll be honest. I truly believe the man's worthless.
What I'm saying is, like, when my attorney gave me crap, I blew right past his receptionist. He heard me looking for him all through that law office, and he hid under a water cooler in the lunchroom. You know, I finally found him, and he looked like shit because his hair was all disheveled from curling in a ball. I said, come on, Brian, you look ridiculous. Come on, get on up. Come on, just take it like a man. Stand up. I'm not going to hit you. You're a little guy. I said, but I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to tell me exactly what happened, what in the world is going on. I said, don't bother bullshitting me. I said, because I know before I ask you this question, I already have an idea of what the hell happened. You tell me. And then that's when he told me to throw him under the bus, you know, because of what happened in July. I said, okay, that makes sense. I said, and then what I did with another attorney, he was trying to avoid me too. So I got him when he went into a public bathroom, and I just tapped him on the shoulder when he was peeing. He was a big guy. He was like 6'4", 280 pounds. He was an ex-state trooper. And I just tapped him on the back, because he had his, dick in his hand. Where's he going to go? I said, hey, you've been avoiding me, man. Now you want to answer a couple of my questions? And he was like, oh, man, it's you. Yeah, it's me. So like I said, man, I don't fool around. I find these people who are supposedly my attorneys or supposedly work for me. I'm going to find them, and I want to ask them, hey, pal, what the hell's going on? Oh, the last attorney, who, like I said, you go on Facebook, he's now a server at Applebee's, not Applebee's, Ruth Chris Steakhouse. He's not even a waiter. He's a 50, 60-year-old man now working as I guarantee he was disbarred over what he told the judge in court, that he wasn't going to help me. And the judge heard him say he's not going to help me. But the judge had to help me. See, there's I'm sure there's some sort of ethical canon code that when the judge hears that the person's client will not help them, he said, are you going to help Carl? He said, oh, absolutely not. I like my job. I'm going to be smart. The judge had to help me. So the judge had to jump on my side during the hearing, during the trial. The judge had to help me because he realized my attorney just told him, F you, man, I ain't helping this guy. I like my job. I don't know what the hell the state's got against this guy, and I don't care. I'm not getting involved. So when the judge heard the attorney saying, I'm not helping Carl file an appeal. Hell no. That's why I guarantee he's a server or a busboy now with the Ruth Chris Steakhouse, because he told the judge, hell no. The judge said, dude, you're so disbarred. He didn't say that at the hearing, at the trial, but I guarantee it wasn't too much longer before that guy was disbarred. But the same thing with him. He was giving me the runaround. So I went to his house, and I knocked on his freaking door. He says, what are you doing here? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing here? I've been trying to call your office for a month now. I said, I finally figured out where you lived. He said, how'd you figure out? I said, I went to the Bar Association. I typed your name in, and it told me that when you got your bar, degree, and it told me, where your office is, and it told me your home address. So here I am. He's like, it's like so unethical to knock on my door. I said, well, it's so unethical not to answer the damn phone when I've been calling you for a month. I said, I ain't got time to dick around. I said, you going to fucking help me or what? He's like, I can't believe you're here. That's all he kept saying is, I can't believe you're here. I said, what do you mean you can't believe I'm here? He's like, I can't believe you found me. I said, it's easy to find you. I said, you're a member of the bar. I said, all your personal information is on the website. You don't want to be a member of the bar? Well, then, you shouldn't, then all your information wouldn't be available. I said, you gave your history of, like, who you are and, where you went to school, and you went to a Catholic school, and then you went to university up there in Buffalo, New York. And I said, yeah, it gives you a whole life history on that damn site. And he says, I didn't know that. I said, well, now you do. I said, you're a bar member, and every bar member has the right to know what's going on, and believe it or not, the public has access to that fucking website, whether you want to believe it or not. So he was like, oh. And he was beside himself, like, holy shit, I cannot believe you found out where I live. I said, so what's the big deal? You're my attorney. What are you going to be afraid of me for? Unless you're doing something to hurt me, what's the problem? What's all the fear? Does your client know where you live? It's like you guys know where I live. I'd bring you right to my freaking house. It's like, well, Carl, well, I'm going to help you, but I'm going to help you at arm's distance, and don't come to my house, and I don't want you to know anything about me.
But there's something called super lawyers on the web that you can look up, and it's supposed to have live, testimonies from what's happened recently and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of good ones. Like I read, man, it was like websites was like Rated Judge or Judgeopedia.
Yeah.
Hey, did you rate it, Judge? Oh, it was great because I realized that the man that they put me in a judge who was the first black judge ever assigned to the United States District Court. Honestly, I don't remember the man's name, but it was down in Birmingham, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, and he's ridiculed throughout the whole judiciary as the Mr. Appeal, Judge Appeal, because no matter what ruling he makes, he always gets appealed and he always gets overturned on appeal. So the old nice black man, he's gun shy, they said. He's very shy of making a ruling. So he'll take years before, if somebody asks him, can you please give me the definition of is? It'll take him years to come back to you and tell you what the definition of is. And when you're suing somebody, you don't want to wait years for the judge to come up with an opinion or a ruling on the word is. So what's funny in this, or Rated Judge, some attorney said, I forgot the name of the man that I have. I don't know if he's still even, sitting as a judge down there. But it was funny. They said they did a zoning plan. They were trying to determine whether it was commercial or residential. And they had this huge project up in the air. And they said, after the one side, either the zoning side for the county or the developer, asked the judge what his opinion on was about a certain phrase, a certain term, like what's the difference between commercial and residential, something simple like that. It took the judge 9 years to come up with his opinion on what the difference between commercial and residential was. He said by the time the judge came up with his ruling, his decision on what the difference was, he said the codes had changed, the laws had changed, the statutes, all the zoning rules had changed, that they had to, scrap the project, the real estate development project, and start all over from the beginning. And they had to reapply for the permits and everything all over again. And he said we just went right back to court, but 9 years later it took just to get this judge to give his definition of the word commercial compared to residential. 9 years for him to come up with an opinion. So they said this judge, they don't, I don't know if his name is Thompson or something. I don't remember the name of the man. He's the first black district court judge in U.S. history. He was put there by Jimmy Carter.
Wow.
Back in the 1970s, and he was still practicing like 30 years later.
We've got a federal judge in Nashville that's appointed by Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say, is if you allow them to run your case, like this one judge alone took them 9 years, not 9 days, to come up with a ruling. Like, let me get some help with this one because this is a little above my pay grade. Let me get a ruling on this. Let me get some of my clerks and let me try to get some law students to dig this information up. Let me call up a couple of senior judges, retired judges, and let me see if they could help me with this opinion on what residential compared to commercial is. Let me get back with you. Give me a couple of days. 9 years later, the guy comes with a ruling of what just that phrase meant. Not ruling of the case, just what somebody said to the judge. Well, you know what is your opinion? Do you understand, like, what's your opinion between commercial and residential? What would you say is the difference? He's like, you know what, let me get back on that. Because, see, they had a trial by a judge, not a trial by a jury. So the judge was like, let me give a little bit of time to think about that. Can you imagine you had a trial by jury and the jury sat out for 9 years to determine whether or not, I don't know, it's like commercial or residential. I don't know, let's sit around here in a hotel for 9 years and determine that.
Wow.
People would say that's the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever heard. And the trial was still going on. He's like, okay, Jerry, just sequester yourself for 9 years because you're having a hard time figuring out what happened yesterday. You're still debating over commercial or residential. Take as long as you need. So 12 jurors just sit back for 9 years to determine, you know what? Okay, I think we've got a good understanding of commercial and residential. Now let the trial proceed. They said when it was ready to proceed again, they said people had retired, people had pulled their funding out of the project. The project had to get all new permits again because they'd all expired. They said it was ridiculous. I think that was the man's name. It was Thomas Thompson. I bet you that's what it is. I bet you somebody, if they Googled it, they'd say, yeah. But, he felt bad for the old black man. He sounded like a nice black guy. He sounded like he had a tough life. He had polio or Parkinson's or whatever when he was a kid. He was semi-crippled, so he spent most of his time, like, in the law library. I mean, great story from coming from nowhere to becoming a judge, but holy Christmas. Talking about just putting somebody in a position just because he's just handicapped and black and didn't have the actual competency, ability to actually carry the position. But it was a feel-good thing to do. Come on. It's like saying they gave you gave Ray Charles a driver's license and told him to be a limo driver for a day because you felt bad for the guy, but he's awfully nice, wrote good songs, so he's going to be a limo driver or a helicopter pilot for the day.
Yeah, for the day. It would only be a day.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a feel-good thing. He's handicapped and all, but Jesus F, you got to be kidding me. You can't just appoint people in these positions who have absolutely no idea what the hell they're doing. No disrespect for the man, but Jesus F, 9 years for ruling, that's insane. Like I said, I couldn't imagine the attorneys practicing law before and said, oh, Jesus F and Lord. Look at the ruling this guy just came up with. Oh, my God, we got to appeal this thing tomorrow. Oh, my God, he's going to be overturned again. Where is this guy coming up with this stuff? It's like, is he even on the same map? Are we in the same country? Does he think this is Mexico or something? Does he think this is Zimbabwe? What else are you getting these opinions? But like I said, you can't let your life as a man be determined by these judges because these guys will let this stuff go on for years. They don't care. They're getting paid. They're going home every day. Their life isn't being encumbered by any of this nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we get this thing to speed up a little bit, like me? Oh, well, hell, they want to dick around with my kids. Like I said, that one guy in New Jersey, his trial lasted for 4 years.
Wow.
For this nonsense, with this 4-year-old girl. And then she was 8 when she finally testified. It went on for 4 freaking years. He had like 3 or 4 charges, like lewd conduct with a child and child endangerment, whatever. But no sex with the kid. Went on for 4 freaking years. But they let him go home on a $250,000 bail. $250,000. The kid was a virgin. What do you mean $250,000? $250,000 and the kid was a virgin? What are you saying the guy did? Oh, he took out his wiener and told her to play with it. Are you kidding me? And you have any proof of that? Well, the babysitter. Oh, the babysitter said. Oh, was the babysitter there? No. Oh, and the babysitter got arrested for drugs not too much before that. Yeah, and you said that she's got to cooperate and help, find like some drug people that she could put the finger on to help, reduce her sentence. And instead of a drug dealer, she found what you call a pedophile. Yeah. Oh, really? And that's your expert witness. Yeah. And you really think you're going to run this to a jury? Yeah. And his attorney was so lousy that he wasn't allowed to bring up the fact that babysitter just got arrested recently before saying that that this man had this girl touch him. It was ridiculous, and the jury actually believed it. I mean, it's ridiculous how the judge just totally railroading this poor guy. Saying no, that they're not allowed to bring up the fact that this babysitter was arrested. No, they're not allowed to bring up the fact that her and the state were working together to reduce her own sentence. No, you can't bring up that fact. You're just going to let the babysitter stand there and swear on a stack of Bibles, oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. That girl definitely told me he did it. There's no doubt about it. That guy definitely did it because a little 4-year-old told me. But then what's funny is they actually had a 120-minute video that they tape recorded the 4-year-old when she was 4 years old, and they said they're not supposed to tape more than 20 minutes, but they taped her for 120 minutes, almost 2 hours. And they said, 1 hour and 20 minutes, whatever it was. I knew there was a 120 in there, either 120 minutes or 1 hour and 20 minutes. And they said 21 minutes of the footage of that interview with the little girl is gone. They took it out, they edited it, they redacted it, they took it out. And his attorney wasn't able to say, wait a second, what happened to that 21 minutes of video? What we want to hear what that little girl had to say during that 21 minutes.
Or what somebody else said to mess with her head.
Yeah, like I said, I'm out. Look, you've got to stop saying that. You got to say it this way. Stop saying it that way. Say it this way. And the little 8-year-old girl said when she got in the witness stand, she was like, I was threatened by the babysitter that she would shove cheese down my brother's throat. Now that's something definitely an 8-year-old would say. Something that somebody would, because you ain't going to threaten me. It's like, well, Carl, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to shove cheese down your mama's throat. I'd say, oh, come on, stop. That's about the most ridiculous threat I ever heard in my life. But the little 8-year-old girl, she took it seriously because she said that her little brother hates cheese. And she didn't want to see her little brother, cry because he was forced to eat cheese. So that's definitely a threat that you could tell a 4-year-old, and a 4-year-old would believe because a guy my age would just laugh at you. You're going to do what? I would have shoved cheese down your brother's throat. Okay. That's about the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Yeah, I guess he ain't going to like it, but I'm sticking with my story. Well, we'll put a bullet in his head. Oh, okay, well, that's different. But shoving cheese down his throat? What? That's a ridiculous threat. So, yeah, it was just amazing listening to this story. So, like I said, I hate it when people, don't understand. In this country, man, in this law, in this land, there must be damages. There must be. Like I said, when I did my fuel tank today in my pickup truck, I got tired of going underneath the truck and dropping the damn fuel tank out because every time I take it out, if there's 20, 30 gallons of fuel in the damn thing, that's 200 pounds of fuel. I have to find containers to put all the damn fuel in. Then I got to get all this crap falling in my face while I'm disconnecting it all the time. Forget it. I just cut a hole in the bed of my pickup truck. I said, screw it. It's a pickup truck. It's a work truck. Screw it. I got a bed liner in it anyway. I pull the bed liner out, cut a huge hole in the bed of my pickup truck, and yank that fuel pump out from the top. I ain't going to need that damn truck no more. Hell with this. This is the second time I've replaced this fuel pump in 3 months. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it no more. So somebody will tell me, Carl, that's wrong. That's not what the manual says. That's not what the book says. The book says go from underneath the truck and do it. It's like, I don't care what the book says. I don't care what the manual says. I don't care what the precedent is or procedure or the proper procedure is. Well, Carl, you're doing it all wrong. Hey, you know what? Good. I'm doing lots of things wrong in my life. You know what? I hope everything I do is against procedure. I hope everything I do is against the code and the book. I hope every single thing that I'm doing is improper in your world. Oh, well, the mechanical books highly advise that you do it this way instead. I don't give a rat's behind what your books say that I should do, how I should do it. I'm not getting dirt in my eyes anymore. I'm not worrying about how I'm going to move this gasoline from one container to another container without worrying about it blowing up and burning. I am done. I'm done worrying about that shit. You know what? I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to cut a big old hole in the bed of my truck. I'm going to put put a bolt, put a square piece of sheet metal over it, put a couple of screws down, and I'm done. Bed is back as good as new. Oh, no, man, that's all wrong. Dude, I don't care if it's wrong. I don't care if it's illegal. I don't care what you call it. Is there any damages? Yeah, well, look what you did to the bed of your truck. Okay, whose bed of that truck is that? That's my truck. Well, the community, we should have the right to access that truck. Well, what do you mean? Well, it's going to be driving on our public roadways, yeah, and? Well, we don't want trucks driving around that's got a hole in the bed of it. You can't see it. Well, it's just not right. It's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is this way. It's like, yeah, I know. That's the right way to do it. And I choose not to do it the right way. And? Well, what you're doing is wrong. I agree. Well, where's the damages? You got any damages? No. Then just let me be. Then what you're doing is complaining. You're not making a claim. If you got a claim, that means you want your property put back the way that I found it before I got to it. Now, that was a customer's truck, and I said, hey, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to blow a hole to the bed of the truck. He's got a bed liner in it. He's always going to see it anyway. And then he finds out that I did. Of course you can make a claim that I destroyed his truck. Carl, you know what you did was wrong. Yeah, well, fine. Carl, but that's my truck. You can do it to your truck, Carl, but don't dare do it to mine. Did you call me up and tell me you're going to blow a hole through this thing? Well, no, I just figured it was easier. Well, Carl, come on, you're going to pay for this damn damages now. Oh, what? Come on, throw the bed liner on it, buff it right out, you'll never notice it. Come on, Carl, get a grip. You ain't going to cut a hole in the floor of my truck because it's easy access to the fuel pump. I didn't pay you to cut a hole, in the floor to get to the fuel. Like I said, in this Thunderbird, oh, man, I could cut a hole in this floorboard in give me about 2-3 minutes. I'll get you right on top of that fuel pump. Instead of taking out the cross member, instead of taking out one of the drive shafts, there's 3 drive shafts under there because it's independent suspension, without taking out the exhaust system. I said, that it takes you about 5 hours to get all that nonsense out of your way. Then you got to take the fuel tank down. Then you got to take the fuel pump. I could cut a hole in the back seat. I know exactly where it is, right behind what brackets and under. And I could cut that damn hole through that back seat and pull out your fuel pump in about 10, 20 minutes and change it and be done. Or take 5 hours just getting the crap out of the way. And then another 2-3 hours putting it all back together.
Yeah, and
Why?
wearing 20 gallons of gas.
Right, then having to deal with, trying to where I'm going to put all this damn gas. When I'm going to put it in these containers, how dangerous it is, it ain't worth it. Just cut a hole in the damn back seat, put the pad back over it, drop the seat back on it, and you're good to go. And be done. But is that the right way? No. Is it wrong? Of course. So what? Man makes tons of mistakes. I made billions of mistakes in my lifetime. So what? Have I done anything, how many times have I done something wrong compared to have done it right or correctly? Probably 101. I've probably done 100 things wrong before I finally got it right. Well, before I got it correct. So what? Was there any damages while I was learning? No. And? What's your point? Oh, well, if you don't do it correct, you did it wrong, we're going to hold you liable. If there's damages, well, even if there isn't damages, we're still going to hold you liable. Dude, you have to get damages. You have no damages, you have no case. It's been an ancient tradition, an ancient custom since caveman time.
Yeah.
Because man is fallible. Man makes mistakes. He was put on this earth to make mistakes. God didn't make us like some sort of a deity that people could say, well, God, even you make mistakes. What? What do you mean I make mistakes? Well, explain cancer, God. Well, sometimes, even the best plans of men go awry. Yeah. But you're God. How do you figure this into the equation? How do you figure that this is the correct thing to do? This is proper to do this to a 1-month-old child, a 3-year-old baby? Well, how do you feel that's proper, fair, and just? How do you justify it? We're not all, perfect here. Dude, you're God. You're all perfect. But there must be a reason why God's doing what he's doing. And that's the way I look at it. There must be a reason. If I don't understand it, that's just because I don't have the capacity to understand at this level why it would happen to be the way that it happens. But there's certainly damages. But look what I'm doing. No. Did I give the kid cancer? No. Did I give the kid AIDS? No. What's your point? Is there any damages? No. What are we doing? If you can't even, like I say to people, man, you have to find liability. There has to be damages. You can't. I said to my mom, trying to explain to her what's going on here. I said, Mom, it's like me making a claim to your insurance company that your van hit my car and damaged my car, but there's no damages. Okay, your van hit my car, but there's no damages, but I'm still going to make a claim that you owe me compensation because you came towards my car with your car and you almost hit me, so I'm still going to make a claim for compensation, but there's no damages. I said, that's basically what's going on with Frank. They're going to charge him with indecent liberties to a kid or assault or abuse or whatever, but there's no actual damages. They'll say he came at the kid with intent to have sex with her, but he never had sex. So they're going to say that he attempted to, but he never did. And there's no third person that could say, to what level do you believe he was attempting to have sex with her? What do you believe happened? Do you believe he ripped her clothes off? Do you believe that there was buttons or ripped clothing? Did you find some evidence of ripped T-shirts or ripped underwear or buttons that went flying off a shirt? Do you have any proof of any of this? Well, no. Okay, so then how do you believe he attempted it? Well, he just had a look in his eye. Oh, he just had a look in his eye. Oh, and that means come Heather, look, come here. I want you so bad. Look, what are you people going on? How are you people going to prosecute this guy? How are you going to convict him? Because it's funny. Mom said to me, his guardian ad litem, because he doesn't have a lawyer, he has a guardian ad litem, said to him, it's almost impossible to withdraw your confession. And I said, see, that's a magical attorney word. Almost impossible. It's like, I will definitely, maybe do it tomorrow. Definitely, maybe. Now, how ridiculous is those two combination of words in the same sentence? Nearly impossible. Impossible means this, and near means this. So near, okay, it's near to me, it's nearly, okay. And impossible means it's like a billion miles away. So it's near and impossible, near and far at the same time. Near and remote, Interesting. It's nearly impossible. Just like saying, definitely, maybe. Oh, you're going to do that for me tomorrow? Oh, definitely, maybe. What did I just fucking tell you? Definitely is because that's the first word you heard, or maybe because that's the second word you heard. Like, you're going to do that for me tomorrow? Oh, definitely, maybe. I'm on it. And then when I don't do it tomorrow, it's like you say, well, you said you were definitely going to do it. No, I said definitely. Maybe I was going to do it. Maybe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's like, no, I heard definitely. Well, it's selective hearing. And that's what a lawyer will tell you, man. They just manipulate the language.
Well, that's why I hit the nail on the head when we were talking. And Gus hit it as well when I read him one of my letters that I'd put together when I was first learning. And, like Gus said, he said anything with four syllables, he said, you better forget that right out the gate.
Oh.
He said 3 syllables, you better be really questioning if there's not another word that really means what you want to say.
Right, because like I was explaining that to people for years. Like, when you hear me talk, it sounds like me, Tarzan, you, Jane, steel bone, give, black bone. That is a perfect lawsuit. And like I said, fortunately, I would hope that, what's his name? That Craig Lynch guy, or somebody finds that man from Europe, England, who was on the call, I'd say at least 6-7 months ago. And he said, Karl, exactly what you're saying about these one-syllable words. The judge stopped me in the middle of trial and said, I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to move under common law. Use one-syllable words. Let me give you a hint, sir. Use one-syllable words if you want this to work. And I said, the judge actually stopped you in the middle of a trial and taught you that? He said, yes, Karl, it's exactly like you said. Use one-syllable words. The judge even gave me a hint in court. Stop. Use one-syllable words. Common law, use one-syllable words. Because I said, what you were probably doing was mixing common law with legalese.
Yeah.
And the judge was saying, you're confusing the shit out of me. I think you want to talk like a man, and I think you're trying to act like a man, but in the same breath, you're talking like a effing lawyer. Now, which is it going to be, sir? Choose one or the other. Talk like a man or talk like a self-represented man. Talk like a pro se. How do you want to do this? Do you want to talk like through legalese, or do you want to talk to me like a man because you're confusing the crap out of me? And that's what I tell people all the time. When you people try to talk to me man to man and then you use legalese and you mix it back and forth on reading this stuff, it's nauseating. It's like listening to some sort of like, a 3/4, waltz kind of dance, and now all of a sudden you're doing a 6/8, rock song, and then you go back to a 4/4, and you go back to a 3/4, and there is no syncopation, there's no rhythm there. You're all over the freaking map. And when we're trying to read this damn garbage that you guys are writing, you're driving us freaking nuts. Because we're trying to concentrate on what you're writing. And it's funny, the Attorney General, I think his name was Hernandez, down in Texas. If you can find it, it's Robert Fox's notice or claim or lawsuit against whoever down in Harris County, Texas. And when those folks down there, Robert Fox's followers, sent me that damn thing, it took me, I think about 9 hours to fix the first paragraph. And I only left 4 words in there. The rest of the words I redacted for him, and I explained why all these other words had to be removed. And I said to the guy, Tom, somebody, the reclamator, he made some reclamation device, Tom Murphy. I said to him, now, this took me 12 hours, and I gave you every single reason why that first paragraph was nothing but tripe. I said, I am not reading the rest of these 39 pages of this crap. I ain't doing it. The 4 words that I put on there, you could keep those 4 words. Everything else has got to be removed, and here's the reason why. And you can take your little friends and your little followers of this clown, Robert Fox, and tell them this is what the hell's going on. Robert Fox was like some freedom guy down in Harris County, Texas, and he bought an old pharmacy, and he found a whole bunch of old pharmacy pills in the back storeroom. And he went online, and he was selling these old drugs that were expired through the Internet. Through eBay and shit like that, or whoever he's Craigslist, whatever the hell he was using them, selling them. And then obviously the state came in and shut him down for selling expired drugs. It's just like in that one movie, I remember that one movie where the guy found some old Quaaludes, and they took the whole damn bottle before it finally took effect. Like, wow, 1 Quaalude, 2 Quaaludes, wow. So the guy taking like 100 Quaaludes, and it finally hit him. They finally, it was delayed reaction for whatever because they were expired or something like that. It took a while for them to kick into effect, for whatever reason. I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was pretty funny. It was based on a real story. So this guy, Robert Fox, was selling all these old drugs from the 70s that he found in the back of some pharmaceutical place, and they were trying to say, well, since he's a patriot, that's the reason why they're taking him down. I read the actual criminal indictment against the guy. And it's because he was selling pharmaceutical drugs, expired pharmaceutical drugs, because he bought an old drugstore. He found some old drugs in the back, storage room, and he was selling them on the internet. That's why they really shut the guy down. So he was using all this patriot crap, so they wouldn't send him back to Canada. And I read this crap, and it was nothing but pure tripe. And it was so funny. The Attorney General of Texas, and I don't think in Harris County, I think Texas, actually read what they sent to me as well. And he said that this is the most nauseating, insulting to the human intelligence, the most bizarre dribble that he ever had to put his mind and his body through. He said it was painful to read this shit. I was like, oh, thank God. It's the same thing that I feel when I'm reading this stuff. It is painful to read this stuff because it's like almost trying to listen to a cadence or a rhythm or a pattern. You're trying, and it's like, what the? These guys are just cut, copy, and paste and shit from all over the place, and there's no clear flow. There's nothing going on here. And you're like, okay, I'm trying to follow you. Okay, now you went this way. Now you went back this way. Now you're over this here. Now you're over there. Where are you going with this? And he said that he read every damn page. I said, oh, that poor Attorney General. And his name was Hernandez or Fernandez. I'm pretty sure it was Hernandez. And I'm sure his opinion is somewhere on the Internet, on Google. Robert Fox, Attorney General Hernandez opinion of Robert Fox's claim, case, lawsuit against the state or Harris County, whatever. It was the form, whatever. It was nauseating. And it's like, oh, thank God, man, the people in power, the people, the attorney generals, actually feel the same way I do. But the Patriot people think that stuff was like the manifesto that was going to, free everybody's souls from, whatever. I'm like, holy Jesus, this is ridiculous. So like I said, when I try to tell people, look, when I gave something to the court in England, and the judge looked over at me, and he said, there's a man over there that I don't recognize, and there's a document now before this court. And I highly recommend that you go over and talk to that man out in the hallway, and you settle this, because this man knows exactly how to evoke Queen before this court. And I recommend highly that you settle this matter, because the Crown has never prevailed before Queen. In the history of England has it happened. And don't think for a second that man over there doesn't know what he's doing. And I just looked at him like, what, who, me? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. No, man, no, not me. Me? No, not little old me. I don't know shit, And the judge just looking at me like, oh, yeah, he knows. Because like I said, you can just tell by demeanor, my style. I just like trying to keep from laughing. I like looking up at the ceiling tile. I was like, not me, man. It's not me. I don't know shit, man. Not me, but us mice, man. I don't nobody here. No, you're not looking at anybody over here that knows anything. No, I don't know anything. And, oh, come on, let's get this going. Let's get to court. Come on, let's get it done. This is gonna be fun. They're trying to say like, who, me? Nah, man, no, I'm so afraid of the Crown, man. Oh, I'm so scared. The Crown's gonna kick my ass. Oh, I'm so scared. You guys got such nice big wigs. I'm so scared. I better just I've just got to go back in the hole in the ground where I came from. I better not fight with you mighty Crown people. Who am I? I'm just some lowly man. Who am I? I don't know shit. They're like, yeah, he knows. I'm like, no, not me, man. I don't know shit. You got the wrong guy. Because, like I said, when people are looking for Queen's Bench, you're actually looking for a physical location. And I try to tell the people, no, when me and Bolly went there, we had to pay to access the court. I wanted to have access to a public courthouse. So I said to Bolly, we have got to file this claim into this court. We got to have, I want to pay to access the Queen's Bench. I said, it says that we don't have to pay. Every court in England, is the King's Court or the Queen's Court, and the people have free access to all the courts. But to me, I still believe that we should pay for the use of these public facilities, because I know the Patriot people would flood. They would inundate the courts with the most ridiculous crap of every gripe they've ever had against any cop, any school teacher, any principal, any county commissioner, any public officer that ever didn't fulfill their wish as a servant. That was my public servant, and they told me no, and I'm going to sue them in court. And a policeman told me this, and this fireman told me, holy jeez, you people are just going to inundate the court with this silly paperwork because, you understand that the sovereign power of the government resides with the people, and you're going to use your sovereign power to make all these public servants dance like little monkeys for you, right? Yes, because I am the sovereign. I have got sovereign power because the sovereign power of the government resides with that people. And holy Jesus, and you're just going to pull everybody's string like a bunch of marionettes, ain't you? Just because you can, because you think you figured it out. And we're all supposed to dance to you now.
They forget, though, as well, even if public funds built the facility, and you've been in a lot more courthouses than I have, but that facility up in Nashville, and they're building a new one now, but the facility, the old one, it's a beautiful building, and it's cleaned, and it's kept clean, and there's a very respectful, court ushers or whatever you want to call them, the guys who make sure you get to where you're supposed to go when you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And the place is spotless, and, if they don't want to pay a fee, what do they want? Do they want a piece of grass out in the field to do court in, or do they want a table and chair?
Yeah, well, that's what I say to people, especially when there's old courthouses, now there's new courthouses. I said, you people just tell, your county that you wish to occupy the old courthouse and you're going to move common law hearings under there while the legal society could take over the new courthouse. That's fine. But we, the people, are going to use these old courthouses to move common law procedures under because you people are neglecting all our common law claims. You're worrying about your civil complaints. And there's a lot of claims that are laying around these clerks' offices that aren't being heard. So since your clerk and staff doesn't want to assign a judge or a magistrate to hear these common law claims, we're going to use these older facilities to move common law cases under. And obviously the legal society is going to go nuts, and they're going to say, wait a second, you have 4 years of training, you don't have any understanding of law, you have, they say, let me see, me Tarzan, you Jane steal bone, give back bone, that's all the law I need to know. Did somebody take something from somebody else that belonged to somebody else? Well, yes, but you've got to understand, in 1916, the Supreme Court ruled that man could take something of another man's, especially if it's a bone, because, in the Wrigley Spearmint case versus the Bones Incorporated, it clearly ruled that Wrigley Spearmint could take the bone away from that man because they needed it for the benefit of society. It's like, what? Look, my name's not Wrigley. I'm not the Bone Company, Bone Incorporated. I'm Tarzan, she's Jane. Give me back my damn bone. Bottom line. She's got mine, give it back. I'm not going to waste around for 9 years before you come up with a ruling on what's the definition of a bone. That's mine, give it back. Bottom line, we're going to move this through the courts like lightning because I don't care about billable hours. I want it now. That's mine. I require you to return it immediately. And make it that simple. It's like, well, that's not how we do things. Yeah, the only problem again is I'm not Chinese. My name is not Mr. Wee. So we don't do things that way. You might do things that way. You might be Mr. Wee. I'm not Mr. Wee. I'm Lentz. And that's mine, and you're going to give it back. What's the last name attached to that kid? Lentz. That's a Lentz kid, right? That's another Lentz kid. What are you doing with the Lentz kids? Well, we took him. Okay, and this Chinese guy named Wee. This Mr. Wee is every fucking where. Who took my kids? And like I said, that's why I let everybody listen to that recording. They said, well, Valley Community Services or Valley Social Services has the kids. I said, oh, really? And Valley Social Services, it has arms and legs, so their Valley Social Services is physically holding the kids. Well, yes, and they're in physical custody of Valley Services. So really, in the physical custody of Valley Services. So that's a man or a woman named Valley Social Services or Valley Community Services. That's Valley is their first name, last name. Who is this person named Valley? You said they have physical custody. How could a thing have custody of a who? How could a car have custody of my children? Who put the damn kids in that car? Well, the car has physical custody of your children. Okay, great. The kids are in that car. Who put my kids in that car? Well, the social service director, she personally got involved in your case. That's right. I made sure she personally got involved. I pissed her off. I went to the director, and I went directly at her. And I made sure she physically had my children taken at gunpoint, and she physically placed them into somebody else's house under her orders. I made sure a caseworker wasn't going to get involved. I went right to the top, and I pissed the head lady off. And she personally took control of that case. And I was like, hallelujah. Boy, that was easy.
Got it all Because I've got like 4 or 5. No matter what I do, I've got 4 or 5 separates. You're all on one page, just about.
What's that? What about 4 or 5?
I've got like 4 or 5 different entities that I've got to deal with, but you've got it a lot simpler than that.
Oh yeah, I went right to the top. You know, it's like if you were getting involved with this stuff way back when, I would have went right to the head of the Department of Justice, right to Eric Holder, and said, hey, you got some Department of Justice people down here giving me shit. You know, you want to get your dogs back on a leash, or you want to have them actually prosecute me and get the hunt over with, or what? What do you want to do? Because this is costing me, and I'm going to hold you liable. You just shit or get off the pond. And like I said, that I did that day one before they even took my kids. I had wrote to the head of social services, which was the director lady, and I wrote to the head of all the agencies in Virginia, which was the governor's office. And I told them straight up, this is going to be crystal clear. I'm not fooling around with you people. You know, take all of my property if you wish. I don't care. I got lots of property. Take anything of mine, all of mine. But whatever you take, I don't give a shit. I said, because I'm going to charge you $1 a second for whatever piece of property that you take and carry. I don't care if it's a hula hoop. I don't care if it's an empty coffee can. I don't care if it's a child. I don't give a damn what it is. You take any of my property, any of it. I don't give a damn what it is. You want to call it yours? You want to take it away from me? Fine. I don't care how you do it. You're going to compensate because you're a man and I'm a man, and I don't give a damn. No matter what badge or what hat another man's wearing, I don't give a damn what law you think you're moving under. I don't give a damn what you're doing. Because the law protects people. The law is meant to protect. The law is not meant to impose upon people, to force people. The law protects the people. It doesn't impose upon the people. It doesn't take from the people. Laws protect the people. So you're going to protect me and my property. You're going to help secure my property with the law. You're not going to take from me because the law says you could take from me. No, you can protect my property. And like I said, and I'm going to love them to say, how are you protecting them from Daddy? What did Daddy do? Did Daddy do anything wrong? Well, no. And like I said, it was beautiful. My mom said that to me. She said, Carl, man, you got them all fucking scrambling. Because they all said, well, tell us how Carl, deals with his kids. Does he hit his children? Does he yell at them? Does he give them time out? Does he punish them? What does he do? He said, Carl hasn't come near his kids in 10 years. They're like, what? That's ridiculous. Well, how does he deal with them? He doesn't. He stays as far away from them as humanly possible. Well, why is that? Because of people like you. He's not stupid. He knows exactly what you people are going to do, Daddy. And he's not going to let you people do it. He's not going to let you people take him down by saying, oh, see, well, Carl yelled at his kids, or Carl punished his kids, or Carl did this with his kids. I didn't do a damn thing. What? Carl waves hi to his kids. They start talking to him. He just starts walking away. I said, yeah, honey, I got things to do. See you when you're 18. I'll be back real soon. What? I'll be back soon, kid. I said, I'll be right back when you're 18. What? I'll be right back. So like I said, it's too funny, man, that these people don't understand somebody like me has been setting them up for all these years.
You knew they weren't going to take it laying down because you beat them.
Oh, yeah. These people don't realize, man, I've been setting them up for all these years. And like I said, when they did that to me in 2001, so they were going to take my son, I said, why am I getting charged with a crime? They're like, no. And have I done anything illegal? No. Are you accusing me with abuse and neglect of this child? Because he's only 2 days old. No. And are you county people or state? Because the county's bankrupt. The state, oh, hallelujah, I'm going to own the state. Go ahead and take whatever you wish. And they're like, what? I say, you have no idea who you're fucking with. You have no idea. I understand now why I've been studying this stuff my whole life. Now I understand why I know what I know. They're like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm going to own you people by the time I'm done. You have no idea who you're doing this to. You think I'm just some stupid hillbilly, right? You just think I'm some stupid cable guy. I said, you have no idea who you just threatened. And I'm telling you, if that little bundle of joy, my little piece of property, is not where I lie it tonight, and I come back tomorrow and it's not fucking there, ho. Every day you keep that from me, I said, it's going to cost you. I said, I want to make a claim for compensation. It's going to cost you. If we have no idea what you're talking about, I said, yeah, of course you wouldn't know. Because you have associate's degrees in sociology and baby wife and assing. You got a degree in wife and baby's asses. I know how to make a claim. You people are screwed. Because you have no idea who you just threatened. Like, well, good luck with that, Mr. Lentz. They said, I said, oh, I'll be back. I said, I'll have 100,000 people behind me. And they actually wrote that down somewhere, that he's going to come back with 100,000 people. I said, that's right.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, because that's what I'm doing. By doing these radio shows, I'm getting hundreds and thousands of people to understand the law. So when we come back, or when I come back, it'll be a whole bunch of people coming back at the same time, explaining what's going on. This is how it's going down.
Well, I will tell you, Carl, I wouldn't know where me and him would be without you. I mean that hand on heart. I mean that hand on heart. And Ian, he's over in his room doing some programming right now, but he has grown so much in the time we spent with you. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for both of us.
Oh, yeah, because like I said, doing it for you people is also doing it for me as well. Because like I said, when everybody knows this, it's going to make it so much easier for me as well. Because people will be watching what's going on, and they'll say, hey, let's see what Karl's going to do with Alabama. Now people are saying, let's see what Karl's going to do with Virginia. I always thought it was going to be Alabama. Now it's being Virginia instead. Okay, so a little bit. So it's not Alabama anymore. Now it's Virginia. Okay, works just as well for me. Let's make it Virginia. I would have sworn it would have been Alabama. But it's Virginia. Okay, Virginia, Alabama. Who cares? It's a state. It's a governor. It's a head of social services. Who cares? So it's just a different location. For whatever reason, I would have sworn it would have been Alabama. Me doing this with Alabama again, dancing with Alabama. I would have never figured Virginia would be stupid enough to do this. Like they would have studied who I am. Or they would have called up Alabama and figured out what to do. But like I said, when they get involved with Alabama, like I said, they have no idea. They said to my mom, we can't get a damn piece of paper out of Alabama. We can't get a copy. We can't get a copy of the case file. We can't get any court orders out of them. We can't get anything out of them. They will not return our calls, nothing. They're not working with us. Like we've never seen something like this. It's like, of course, everything they did, they broke the law. They kidnapped kids, and they're not going to just give that information out freely and say, well, we took this guy's kids without probable cause, without any justification. Because, like I said, it's funny. There's like a guy who's just doing a lot of hateful stuff on the internet and saying hateful stuff about me, which is funny. I told people there's a safety plan in there from another family. And this guy found the safety plan. I don't know how he found it. I mean, I made a lawsuit, and it's part of the evidence that there's a case file in there with some other family's name on it, with somebody else's child and somebody else's situation. And, has nothing to do with me or the newborn baby boy. It has to do with a 4-year-old girl. And this guy, for whatever reason, he's not bothering to mention the facts that this is about a 4-year-old girl, not a newborn baby boy. And for some reason, he's not mentioning that. He's like, well, I don't see their name on it. It's there. Well, I don't see the father's name on there. Well, it's there. He said, well, I didn't see it. Okay, fine. You didn't see it. I'm telling you, it's there. Because it's funny, the family's name was the Andersons. And the girl's name, now she's 18. I don't mind talking about it because she's over 18. Her name is Brittany Anderson. And Scotty was the dad. And Scott Anderson and Mary is the mother of my 3 children. So before she met me, 3 or 4 years before she met me, she had a baby girl with Scotty Anderson. Scotty was a great little Irishman, about the size of Brian Bonner, about 5 foot, full wall, 5'5".
The guy that had about 8 teeth.
Right, a really, really small little guy. The really little guy. Irish guy.
Yeah.
Mary was married to him. And when I met Mary and Scotty, when I first met Mary, she told me she had like a 3-4-year-old girl with this guy. So it's like, okay, fine, I don't care. But then when I saw them together, it's like walking out of Scotty's house. When I first met her kid, I only met her kid twice. I only met Brittany twice, just for a couple of minutes. So she said to me, that's Scotty, the dad. I said, I met Scotty, and I started to talk, and it's like, I looked at him and looked at her. I said, boy, you guys could be like brother and sister, because my wife is very small, and he's very small. And I said, look, Scotty, I said, you got a woman, you got a kid with this woman. If you want me to step out of the picture, I've only known her for about a week or 2. If you want me to step out of the picture so you get another shot at getting back with her, God bless you. I said, you got a kid with her. I'll step out. It's not hard for me to get another woman. He says, no, Karl, you're more than welcome to have a shot at her because there's too much bad blood between us. There's too much under the bridge. It's just time for us to move on. She's, if somebody like you doesn't come along and help her from her drinking problem, she's going to be dead. So it seems like she's starting to sober up. So, you must be doing a good job. I can't stop her from drinking. He said, I'm an alcoholic myself. He's like, good luck with, helping her. So I said, okay. So, obviously I was huge compared to him, and I didn't have to tell him, look, I'll back away from her, because obviously you two look like you get along great. You look like, have a daughter together. You don't want to try to work it out one more time and see the guys make the magic happen. He's like, nope. He said, I'm so done. I said, okay. So then I carried on my relationship with her. But, I got the green light to go from Scotty, which I did not need his fucking permission at all. But it was the respectful thing to do.
Yeah.
And but like I said, when you're reading the safety plan, it says due to domestic violence between the mother and the father, that the grandmother is to have the girl. Well, I think it says baby. I think this actually says girl, it just says baby. And that baby was 4 years old at the time. So I say to the people, yeah, but you don't understand. The domestic violence is like when you read on the newspaper I gave you for the Moonshine article, in the front page, it said the police responding to a domestic violence call between Karl and Linda Lentz at this location.
That's so funny.
Right, at the very end of the story, it also says Linda Lentz was arrested for domestic violence. It doesn't say Karl Lentz was arrested for domestic violence. It says Karl Lentz was arrested for moonshine, distillation of, an alcoholic beverage. Linda was also arrested for that and for domestic violence. So, but you always instantly think, if there's a domestic violence call, it's the man who must have been the initiator of the domestic violence. And Linda didn't domestically violently assault me. She was fighting with her mom, who was drunk that Sunday morning. Her and her mom were fighting in the front yard, wrestling around on the front yard. That's who was fighting. It was two women fighting. Saw that the grandma, her mother-in-law, was crying and asked her that she had gotten in a fight with the daughter. No broken bones, just she was crying because she was upset because she was drunk. And she had no place to go. But like I said, when you read something about domestic violence, you instantly think it was the man. So this clown who's writing this stuff on the internet about the safety plan, saying this is called safety plan, no, it's not. Everybody knows how family court proceeds. Anybody who would understand family court, first there's initial petition by a social worker who says that she petitions the court for the immediate removal of a child. That's going to probably be on page 1. Page 2 is probably going to be the pick-up order. Page 3 would probably be the actual detainment order, the placement order. Page 4 would probably be the safety plan. Well, the safety plan in my son's case file is on page 40, 41, and 42. Now, to get to page 40, 41, and 42 in any case file would probably be at least 2 or 3 years down the road. To get to page 40 on a case file usually takes years to get that far, that many proceedings, and that much paperwork generated. So somewhere along the line, they came up with, why does Mary not have a 4-year-old child or a 5-, 6-year-old child by then living with her and Karl? Why does the mother not have a daughter? So somebody put the explanation of why Mary doesn't have a 5-, 6-year-old daughter living with me in the case file. Or they were trying to use that safety plan, the safety plan between me and Mary and the state of Alabama. For whatever reason, the Anderson's safety plan is in my son's case file. It doesn't belong there. Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't belong there, but it's in there. So whatever reason it got in there, I really couldn't care less. Like I said, people said to me, well, why didn't you mention that in your lawsuit years ago that this was the Anderson's case file? It's like, well, when I make a lawsuit, I try to make it as simple and quick as possible. I just say there's another family's lawsuit in there, and it doesn't belong. Look, this is the case number. It's like JU1234567. Look at my child's case number. It's JU7654321. The case files are not the same. So this is a case, the safety plan that pertains to this case file. Why is it in this case file? Is it a misdirection? Is it in here to confuse somebody? Is it here for deceptive? Is this here to explain why Mary doesn't have a 6-year-old living with me? Is that the reason why? I don't know, and I don't care. But the only safety plan I see in my son's case file is this one that belongs to another family. And like I said, this guy's trying to go on, like saying the reason why the kid was taken to place with grandma was because of a domestic violence situation between the parents. The only problem with that is Mary and Scotty were massive alcoholics. And Mary got pregnant and popped out a baby. Scotty got off the bottles, and Mary went to get off the bottles, but Mary stayed home with the baby, and Scotty went to work. Scotty would come home and kept catching Mary drunk when the baby was there. So Scotty said to her, look, you got to leave. You're drunk. You can't be around the baby. Take care of the baby while you're drunk. I think Mary dropped the baby. And Scotty said, that's it. You got to go. Just put the baby down. Go back home to your mama. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. We're done. So when Mary went back home without the baby, her mom and her brother said, where's the baby? And said, oh, Scotty kicked me out of keeping the baby. Well, they went to Scotty's apartment, and they said, we want the damn baby. And Scotty said, not in your life. That's my child. She ain't leaving nowhere. So they started to beat up Scotty. Scotty got up to the phone and dialed 911. So the police came. But when the police were coming, Mary and her family left without the baby. So then eventually, Scotty didn't press charges. But yes, is there a report for domestic violence between the Andersons and the Manginas? Yeah, Mary? Yes, absolutely. But it was Scotty who was the victim because he was a little guy. He wasn't a big guy, but he was a little guy. So he was the one who dialed 911. So he didn't press charges. So over the next year or two before she met me, Scotty and her mother agreed to watch the baby during the weekdays and that he would have the girl on the weekends. So Scotty would fly kites with the girl, with his daughter. He'd build model airplanes and flown like radio-controlled model airplanes with the girl, and he loved his daughter to death. And when my son was born, Social Services got in the picture with my Downs boy. And when the boy was born, they said to Grandma, Mary's mom, why don't you have something in writing between you and Scotty why you have Scotty's kid, Scotty's daughter? And she's like, I don't know, we've just been a gentleman's agreement. He just gave me the kid, and we agreed he has it on weekends, and I have it on weekdays. And Social Services said to her, well, how would you like the kid full-time and get Scotty out of the picture altogether? Work with us, and we'll get rid of Scotty altogether. And she did. So there was a safety plan signed, and Scotty said he didn't know that a safety plan was being signed. And he lost custody of his daughter to Margaret Mangina, the lady's name that you see signed on page 42. That this guy who bashes me fails to mention. There's a lady named Margaret Mangina whose name was signed on a safety plan. That's the grandma. So like I said, for years I didn't bother explaining all this. One, because it's nobody's damn business what's happening with the Anderson family. It's nobody's business what's going on with some girl named Brittany Anderson. She's not mine. So for some reason this guy feels he feels that he deserves an explanation of what the safety plan is doing. And nobody who listens to my show who is reading these guys' comments isn't stopping this guy and saying, look, there must be a reason why Karl doesn't feel that he should put this in here. There must be a reason why Karl's not mentioning this on the show. There must be a good reason why Karl's, not explaining the contents of the safety plan. So just let Karl, if Karl doesn't want to explain it, let him be. So I was like, you know what? This guy just keeps making video after video after video after video after video saying Karl's lying about Alabama. Okay, you want to know what's going on? This is what's going on. So when Scotty and them made an agreement, they made an agreement to take Scotty's kid away from him. Scotty was devastated. He went one Saturday, Sunday to pick the kid up, and they said, no, we got a court order. She stays here with us forever. Get the hell out of here, or you'll go to jail. So Scotty called up me and said, hey, Karl, you know about law. What's going on? I said, I don't have a clue. What'd they tell you? I said, oh, there's a court order. And there's a safety plan signed that I can't have my kid no more. She used to stay with Grandma. I said, well, let me try to figure this out, Scotty. He goes, I'm just trying to figure this out for myself. Because it took, they're threatening to take Cole. They hadn't taken Cole at that time. They were threatening to take him. I said, so let me just try to figure out what's going on with my kid here, too. What they're all about, why they're trying to do this to us, what's going on. So this guy's trying to say, well, the child was placed with Grandma in the Grandma's apartment. Yeah, the only problem with that, so that he was trying to say, well, see, your son was placed with maternal grandmother. The only problem is when my son was born at birth at the hospital, the maternal grandma was told, like me, that he probably has Downs. But it's going to take 10 days before the tests come back from Kansas or somewhere in the Midwest, whether to confirm, what level of Downs he had. Was he a mosaic Downs? Was he like a Category 1 Downs? Was he Category 2 Downs? What level of Downs did he have? There's all different levels, because some Downs kids don't even have fingerprints. Some kids, it's amazing that they don't have fingerprints. My kid has fingerprints, so they said that's a pretty good sign that whatever Downs level he has, it probably won't be that extreme, and he'll probably make it past 18 years old. But most kids who have Downs who don't even have fingerprints don't usually make it past 18 years old. They don't survive long enough. So I said, okay. So obviously the maternal grandmother, Mary's adopted mom, was still visiting her grandson, still coming up to the hospital, until the day when it came back that he had Downs. She took all the balloons down from the maternity ward. She took all the stuffed animals down. The whole Mancini family never saw that child ever again. Totally abandoned Cole. Totally abandoned him. Totally. So when this guy's saying, well, look, the baby was placed with the grandma. Not the Downs baby. Why? Because she didn't want no Downs baby. Why? Because he wouldn't look good on a Christmas card. Why? Because she wanted nothing to do with him if he had Downs. So it's like, oh, really? It's like, yes, because when Mary, on the 10th day when she found out she had Downs, she still went to go back to her apartment, her mom's house, the apartment, to go get a camera to take pictures of Cole. When she got back to her apartment, the locks had been changed. And Mary had already lived with her mom on and off for almost 35, 36 years. The locks were changed. Mary called her mom inside the house, and Mom, the doors are locked. I can't get in. And she said, that's right. You're not getting in. You're not going to bring that damn baby here. I don't want no Downs kid in my house.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mary was locked out of her own house. So then Mary had to be with me full time because I was on the road working all the time. So Mary said, I'm going to have to stay with you. So Mary went to work with me until December 8th. She worked every single day with me from like August 10th to December 8th. She was sitting right next to me in the truck. She had no place to go. They kicked her out. And her baby was in the hospital because he would weigh 2 pounds and 9 ounces. So they weren't going to discharge him until November, December anyway, until he packed on some weight. So that's what was funny is this guy saying, well, the baby was put in the maternal grandmother's house. Not my baby. The Anderson baby was put into the maternal grandmother's house, and she was 4 years old. So this guy wants me to give him like this ridiculous explanation on the Internet, and I can't keep writing comments, all the time, explaining to this clown what's going on. But it's like, you know what? People love drama. So I said, you know what? The people who listen to my show, they probably want to know a little bit more detail, too. It's like, well, there you go, folks. There's super detail of what's going on between the Andersons and the Manginas and some girl named Britt Anderson. They're like, oh, if you people still don't believe me that this is Scotty Anderson's kid, I'm not going to tell you how to get in touch with that little girl because this fucking pervert, he'll probably try to find her and say, did your daddy really kill himself over this? They said, if you don't believe it, go read the Birmingham News or whatever newspapers in Birmingham, Alabama, and Google Scott Anderson died. He was probably about 48 years old, maybe 52 years old at the time. He died of asphyxiation. They're not going to say he committed suicide, but Google Scotty Anderson and Brittany Anderson in the same, a Boolean search and said Scotty obituary, Birmingham newspaper, and I bet you'll say Scotty Anderson left behind a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old girl named Brittany Anderson. And it might say the mom's name as being Mary Kay. It might say my wife's name. That's who the safety plan was written of. That's who the baby they're talking about, Brittany Anderson. Now, this guy said, well, why didn't you write that in your lawsuit and explain everything about the Andersons and everything about the Manginas? I said, because I don't give a shit. I'm a Lentz. I'm fighting for a Lentz kid. I'm not fighting for a Mangina. I'm not fighting for an Anderson kid. I'm fighting for a Lentz kid. I don't give a damn why the state of Alabama put an Anderson safety plan in my kid's case file. Where's my kid's safety plan? Because they said we voluntarily signed a safety plan and gave the control of that child over to the state. We put him into the state custody, the mom and the dad, upon an agreement by social services. And that's what I'm saying. I don't understand if this guy is so good at finding information, why didn't he go to the appellee, the appeals that I filed that the state of Alabama put into the public record on June 30th of 2008? Why didn't he go to the appeals court and get the appellee reply brief that said, the very first paragraph says, if I can find the appellee reply brief, I'll put it up on the Internet. It says, due to an agreement between the parents and the state of Alabama's Department of Human Resources, the child was voluntarily placed into the state of Alabama's foster care division. And I was like, holy shit, I was waiting 6-7 years for that. I was waiting from 2001 until 2008. So that's 7 years. I was waiting for them to give me an explanation just how in holy hell did that kid wind up in foster care. So they put it on their very first paragraph, due to an agreement between the parties, between the parents and the State of Alabama's Department of Human Resources, the child was voluntarily placed with the State of Alabama's Foster Division. Oh, like hallelujah, sweet Lord. Now, it better to be a contract where it was signed by the parents. And then on page 3 and 4, the bottom of page 3, the parent's signature should be found. And then on top of page 4, it says, on page 42 of the safety plan. I was like, hallelujah. It has some grandma's name up there. It ain't my name. It ain't the mother's name. Yay, hallelujah. It has nothing to do with us. Yes, they are using the Anderson kids case file. Yes, they're using the Anderson safety plan. Hallelujah. That's what they're using.
Yeah.
So like I said, hallelujah. This guy brought this up, and he's still just trying to dig dirt and just trying to make it seem like I'm lying about stuff. It's like, lying about stuff? No. It's nobody's business that Scotty died. And it's funny how he died because he was Catholic and he was Irish and he didn't want to commit suicide. But I could just tell, man, the guy was just falling downhill, and I kept telling Scotty, hang in there, man, hang in there. Don't kill you, man, hang in there. And he's like, Carl, I can't take this no more. You know, just the pain is too great. I said, dude, you got a mom. Your mom loves you to death. You got a nice house. You know, you guys got to stay. You know, kid will be 18 soon enough. Just hang in there, Scotty. Just hang in there. And, like, trying to keep talk to him, pep talk him. You know, with some people, like, especially Irish, like I was telling you before about Frank being Italian, they're just a big bag of emotions. And thank God I'm German, and my emotions were beating the hell out of me by my dad since I was a little kid. So I know how to handle, you know, loss. I know how to handle a death in the family. I know how to handle a Downs kid. I know how to handle a blind dog, or I know how to handle this stuff without crying, without saying, God, why me? I know how to handle it. I know how to handle pressure. So like I said, this poor guy couldn't do it. So while he was moving a dresser or a bureau in his bedroom, and it fell on him. And his old brother, don't remember his name, he has an airplane. He lives down in the Gulf Shores down there. He's a really nice man. His brother ran upstairs, and Scotty said, don't take this damn dresser off of me. And he said, and his brother said, but if I don't take it off of you, you're going to die. He said, just let me die. Just let me go. He says, this is God's way of letting me die. He said Scotty tried to, fight to get up to a push-up to get the furniture off him. He couldn't get it off him. But at least Scotty fought like a good Catholic. He's like, I'm not trying to commit suicide, God. I'm trying to fight, but, it was just bizarre that his brother would let him asphyxiate, just let the pressure of the furniture, suffocate him. I wouldn't have done it to my brother, but I'm not there, and I can't judge Scotty's brother, but I guarantee I would have ripped that damn that bureau off of Scotty, and I would have said, Scotty, you're going to stick your ass next to me. You're going to work with me. You're going to be in the same damn room. You're going to stay with me until you get out of this funk. I'm telling you, it's going to be all right. You are not going to leave my sight, until the kid hits 18. It's going to be okay. Until we get that kid back or until that kid hits 18, you're going to stay right next to my behind. The same thing I did to the mom. She stayed right next to my behind until December 8th of 2001. She stayed right next to me. I knew she was in a funk. I knew she'd fall back into the bottle. I said, no way. A year to get her out of the bottle. I'm not going to let her sit home and get depressed and fall back into a bottle. I'm not going to do it. But for whatever reason, Scotty's brother let him go. And there's no way in the world I would have let Scotty go because he was a great little guy. There's no way. He was a hard-working guy. There's no way I would have let him go. Absolutely not. But so if somebody actually wants to Google Scott Anderson, Brittany Anderson, deceased, or I don't know how they write, left behind, a daughter, it'll be there. It'll be in that newspaper, I guarantee. There will be something there written up about him. I'm not sure what year he died. Was it 2004, 5, 6, 7? I'm not sure. It's been so many years to me now. I can't possibly remember the exact year that he, gave up.
I was going to ask you if you want to take, there's a couple of, I guess it was two guys with hands up.
Okay. The thing, too, is, but I just wanted to clear that up a little bit because, like I said, this guy's just making a ridiculous video. It's just saying, Carl's lying about what happened in Alabama. I'm like, oh, really? And it's like, you know what? Honestly, I don't have time to deal with this guy's, that he doesn't understand the whole picture. This guy wanted to actually come up here and talk to me, and I'd say to him, hey, you know what? I'm sure I got it on my hard drives on my old computer, my tower. I'm sure I could find the appellee appeal. I'm sure I can find it. Do you want to take a look and read it yourself? I said, I'm sure I got it. But like I said, my house is all full of crap right now, man. I'm busy, unpacking. I'm busy getting my stuff set up for the wintertime. I ain't got time to actually look for the actual review. I said, if you guys don't believe me, if you want to find out through Alabama Civil Court of Appeals, how do we get a copy of even just their first page, the first paragraph, the first page, without getting the whole entire appeal, the brief? Fine, let's just get the first 4 pages where it explains exactly what happened, how the kid was taken into custody. So that would, placiate that guy's mind. He'll fucking, hey, you know what? Oh, now it all makes sense. Now I see what happened with Karl and the Andersons, and now it all makes sense. There was a guy named Scotty. Oh, yeah, now it all makes crystal clear. But like I said, I think he's just hoping. First, it was funny, one of his earlier videos about a month or two ago, it's like, the reason why Karl Rudolph Lentz got divorced from his wife is because the wife filed divorce against him for domestic violence and spousal. I said, what? And I looked at it, and I looked at the case number, so I had to Google a case number. It's like, that's my dad against my mom in 1980. I was a kid. Dude, you're putting my mom's and dad's divorce on your YouTube thing, showing people, look what Patricia Lentz wrote about Rudolph Lentz. That's my dad. Like, I'm junior, he's senior. My mom's name is Patricia. That's my mom's petition against my dad. It's so funny that this guy has got such a hold-on for me that he doesn't even realize, oh, yeah, I guess Karl was 16 years old back then. Yeah, Karl was 16 years old. How could his wife be filing for divorce and saying that she wants custody of the 3 kids? I'm 16 years old. I got 3 kids. A 14, a 16, and a 17-year-old. I'm 16. But like I said, these people have such a desire to try to, make me look bad that they don't even bother researching. But like I said, and people say to me, well, people on my show, they'll be like, oh, Karl, don't worry about somebody like him. Karl, he's just saying that stuff. Karl, you got much more important things to do than worry about him. It's like, the only problem is when people go onto YouTube and they want to say, oh, who's Karl Lentz? Let's see the good things and bad things about him. So somebody will put my name in, Karl Lentz, in the YouTube search. And they'll say, oh, let's see, is there any good things, or let's see the bad things about him. Let's see if we can find any bad videos about him. And then all of a sudden, they find all these bad videos saying that Karl was, charged with domestic violence. No, it was Linda. Well, see, Karl divorced his first wife because his first wife petitioned the court. Patricia Lentz divorced because of Karl Lentz and domestic violence. It's like, no, that's my father. Well, look, you see the safety plan says the domestic violence between the mother and the father. Well, no, it's the Anderson safety plan, and that had to do with the father being jumped on by 3 of his in-laws. And he was in panic in his apartment when they came into his apartment. So you people, like I said, will say, Karl, but, you got so much other stuff to do. It's like, yeah, okay, you people know this. You people know this. You people who study my stuff have been following me for months or years, you know that this guy is just starting crap. The only problem is with these new people who are learning and coming on board, they're going to be looking for my name. They're not going to realize this guy's full of crap. They're going to think that, holy shit, this guy's got Karl's safety plan. Holy shit, this guy's got Karl's wife's divorce petition from 1980. Holy shit, Karl's got this moonshine thing, and they were responding to a domestic violence call. Oh, Karl's a crazy animal. That's why his kids got taken. No. But I don't see anybody jumping this guy's shit and saying, hey, pal, you got to stop. Karl ain't got time for your crazy bullshit. Yeah. So like I said, and that's what I tried to say in there, I said to the guy, I said, do you realize that you just used somebody else's child's name and somebody else's case file without their consent? Do you understand that by putting somebody else's safety plan up there, talking about somebody else's children, they're not my children, they're somebody else's child. I guarantee, you cannot put somebody's safety plan up for public view between their children. Yes, I use it as evidence in my case because they were pertaining to my children. I could mention my children in a lawsuit, but how could you mention somebody else's children in just because you just have a morbid curiosity or just trying to make me look bad? Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I don't mind that people are human and people have a morbid curiosity, and that's just the nature of the beast. I understand how people think and how people always try to find dirt on somebody. Just like I said, when I go on eBay and I buy something, obviously I'm looking for the one comment out of 1,000 that said that this seller shouldn't be trusted, that he's going to steal your money and you're never going to see a dime, and you're never going to hear from him, and he's going to use you and abuse you. But wait a second, there's 1,000 other people that said this seller is the best seller that they ever dealt with on eBay, and you're not going to care. You're just going to listen to the one bad comment and rip the guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's people want perfection. They want 100%. And if they could find one damn thing bad about you, that's going to turn them off about me. And this guy knows it. This guy who's writing all this hateful shit knows it. That if somebody could find something bad about me, it's going to turn them off from looking any deeper into me. So this is what I try to say, man. This is why you always got to, like I said, to bullying them. I said, when you deal with these people, man, you have to do the best you can. I said, you can't, blow these people off. Show up for a seminar, you're going to show up for a seminar. If people say you're going to be there and, court for them, you got to be there. You can't tell people you're going to be someplace and you're not. I said, you got to do it. You got to perform, whether you like it or not. Because it was funny, we had to go in the most ridiculous remote part of England that I was in. And it was just south of the Midlands, but north of London. So, I mean, it was rural. And we get to this little rinky-dink town, these really ridiculous little roads. And we get there at 11 o'clock, 11:30. The show was supposed to be at 12. We get there. And the organizer, we were going to do it at a library down there. That was like their public meeting hall, was a library. And the organizer, when we got there, we got in the parking lot, and it was empty. And I said, wait a second, nobody's here. So he called the organizer, and he says, oh, I'm sorry, guys. We tried to keep calling you for hours, but you're driving in this remote part of England that has, no cell phone towers. So sorry about that, but we canceled the show because, only 17 people were confirmed to be there, and he said he needed at least 20 people to break even. I said, what? He said, we needed 20 people to break even for renting out the event and the food. I said, sir, I would have paid you for the other 3 people that didn't show up. I said, I would have paid you. It was how much were you charging? It was 20 quid. Dude, I would have gave you 60 quid. It wouldn't have mattered to me. We got a show to do, and we do it. And he said, well, there's no sense doing it if I'm going to lose money. I said, you should have called me up, and I would have lost the money. You didn't have to take it on the chin. I would have taken it on the chin. I said, you can't tell 17 people, too bad. Those 17 people is just as important as 17 million people. You got to perform. I don't care if only one person shows up. You got to perform.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. Some guy from London was coming up, and he called us on the cell phone just as we were getting done with this promoter guy. And this one guy called up. He was a tall fellow, man. It was funny. We got video of me and him in a bar, and the security guards at the bar were actually boxer dogs. They were actually dogs, and it was a really cool little pub. But I said to Bali, this guy was coming up from London, and we were going to do a show there, in a week from then, closer to London. And the guy said, oh, he's almost, in that part of the motorway. He's almost up at that exit. And Bali said, well, there's not going to be a show here, so you might as well go home. And I grabbed the phone from Bali. I said, you son of a bitch. I said, sir, where are you? And he said, whatever exit he said. I said, find the nearest pub or, petrol station or a hotel, motel, restaurant. Just find some place that you see, and you get off the motorway and give us a call, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. We'll get there as soon as we can. And Bali's like, what are you doing? I said, the show goes on. He's like, what? I said, there's going to be a fucking show today. He said, that man drove all the way from London. We're going to do a fucking show. He said, that's ridiculous. I said, well, ridiculous? I said, do you understand what we're doing? I said, do you understand what we're trying to accomplish here? We're trying to build up people's belief in something. We're trying to get people to believe in a whole new concept that they've never been exposed to. They know in their heart it's true, but they've never seen it, and they're waiting for a miracle. I said, we can't let these people down. These people depend on us. I said, I don't know what the hell you're doing, and I said, I don't have no idea how you were, raised or reared or what you believe in. But when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. I said, you ain't going to work with me. I said, it's that simple. So when the man called up, I said, where are you, sir? And he told me where he was. So we met him up at a pub. So I did a show for the guy, just me, him, and Bali. And when we were all said and done, the man gave me 200 pounds. And Bali's like, wow. The guy, there's only 20 quid to come see me. but the guy actually gave you an extra 180. He said, yes. You see how that works out, Polly? Because I guess the guy figured, hey, you know what, I was decent enough that the show went on. And he realized I didn't have to perform just for him and give him a show. But he showed up. He deserves a show. If I take my time out to drive 3 hours to come and see you, God damn it, you better fucking be there. But anyway, like I said, the show went on. And the guy gave me 200 pounds, which was fantastic. I said, see, Bolly, we still came out ahead. He's like, holy shit, Carl. I said, yeah, you thought today was going to be a total loss, didn't you? So not only did we make money today, Bolly, we did our show. We got a guy from England that he said that he knows a lot of people in England. So he's going to say, hey, you know what? Carl gave me a one-man show. What? Carl kept his word. He gave me a one-man show. He did, yes. We went to a pub and Carl talked to me until I was satisfied and, the show was over. And Carl and Bolly that went down the road and he went down the road his way. But at least the man felt that I'm sure he felt he got his 20 quid worth because he gave me 200. So, like I said, it's, people who are new to this are looking for something. And I don't need moms who are trying to get their children back or dads who are trying to get their children back to read this crap from these filth, like this guy who got nothing to say but filth, and trying to say something's not true. What I'm doing is not true. It's like, oh, really? So you really want to know what's going on in Alabama. You really want to know what the safety plan is all about. You really want to know the actors in the safety plan. You really want to know, the participants. You see the dad's age. My age was 37. You see the dad's age on that thing was like 45. I wasn't 45 at the time, 2001. You see the divorce decree back in 1980. I was 16 years old. That wasn't me. Oh, well, I read a newspaper about the moonshine. The cops were responding to a domestic violence between you and your wife. You were wife beater. No, it was my wife beating up her mom. Oh, well, there's something horrible about you, why they took your kids. Yeah, because they didn't know how the kid was going to be all the medicated, was going to pay for like $1 million worth of hospital stay because he had to be in the hospital for at least 4 months. And that's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Alabama wanted to know who's going to pay this damn hospital bill. I said, I will. They said, how are you going to pay for it? You do what for a living? What do you do, cable, satellites, or something like that? How are you going to pay for it? I said, ma'am, don't worry about it. Just hand me the damn bill. I'll cover the bill. They're like, look, just sign Medicaid or Social Security with us, and Medicaid and Social Security will pay the whole entire hospital stay. I said, ma'am, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to pay. I don't want to get Social Security and Medicaid involved at this point. I don't need them to help cover my child's expenses, my child's bill. They said, do you have any idea? Like 22-year-old girls were saying, do you have any idea how much this is going to cost? Ma'am, I know how to pay for a debt. I know how to pay on a debt note. Ma'am, I do know how to cover this. I do know how to make payments, ma'am. I got this covered. I don't need your help. I don't need the United States government to help pay my bills. I know how to pay my debt. Just give me the damn bill. She's like, do you have any idea how much it's going to be? I said, ma'am, I've got it under control. There's no way in the world you can afford this. I said, ma'am, how do you know? They said, well, what do you do for a living? How much money do you make? I said, ma'am, you're 20 what, 22, 23 years old? I'm 37 years old. Who do you think you're talking to? It's like you're talking to your dad. You understand how old I am compared to you, honey? I know how to handle my debt. I know how to handle bills, okay? When a bill is due, send them when they're going to discharge my child into my custody and care. You tell them, send me the bill, and I got it covered. They said, if you don't sign this paperwork, you're never going to see your kid again. I said, oh, really? Is that a threat? They said, we do this every day, Mr. Lentz. I said, oh, do you understand who you just threatened? You work for the county or the state? State. Oh, God bless you. I said, no, because the county's bankrupt. At least the state's got money a mile deep. I said, I'm going to own the state when I'm done. So go ahead and do as you wish. If that property doesn't lie where I lay it today when I walk out, I'm going to claim this state. I'm going to own the state when I'm done. They said, how are you going to do that? I said, oh, you'll see. There'll be 100,000 people behind me when I do it. They go, what? I said, ma'am, you got no idea what I'm thinking in my mind right now. Oh, that mind was already spinning. I said, you're going to make a move like this against the state call. You better have 100,000 eyewitnesses. What's going on? Because people are going to, state's not going to let one man do this. You better believe that there better be 100,000 people watching, Carl, watching what you're doing, keeping an eye over you, saying, look, if anything happens to Carl, man, we know why it happened. Carl didn't do a damn thing wrong to anybody. Carl didn't go near his kids for 10 years. Carl didn't touch his kids, hug his kids. Carl didn't approach his kids. You ain't going to get Carl on some ridiculous domestic violence, abuse and neglect, indecent liberties on his wife, his children. Nope, Carl's avoided everybody. How many people? Everybody. Carl's lived like a how many years? 10 years. Why? Say, no effing way. No effing way. You're going to make up some trumped-up bullshit charges on me. I'm not going to give you the opportunity. I'm not going to let you be able to do it. You're going to have to figure out some other way than what you did to Paul Frank and say that, some trumped-up bullshit indecent liberties charges on Frank.
Yeah, Paul Frank.
You're not going to do it to me. Oh, no, I'm smart enough. Even my little brother Frankie, he said that. He said when that girl took her clothes off, when the first Christmas she was here for like a month or two before Christmas, and she took her clothes off and started running around naked doing some stupid stripping pole dance, around the Christmas tree like it was a stripping pole. Man, he said he put a lock on his door in his bedroom, and he didn't talk to anybody, even though my mom cooked him dinner, did his laundry, didn't talk to anybody in that house for a year. If anybody tried to talk to him, my mom, his dad, he'd run right up in his room, lock the damn door. He said he didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to know shit from Dick. He didn't want to know nothing about nothing. He said he was scared shitless. I said, well, God bless you, kid. You understand the culture, the rape culture that we have in this country. You understand the fear. He says, oh, absolutely. When your kid did that, he said, I was scared out of my mind. I was not going to go down for rape, abuse, fondling, touching, looking at her, nothing. He says, man, I don't want to know nothing with your kid. He says, I knew there was something wrong with her. He said, man, I was going near her. His own self-preservation. He's like, man, I heard about shit like this. He says, I'm not going to jail. I said to my brother Frankie, I said, you knew that? Back in 2007, 2008, you knew that? He says, oh, absolutely. I said, wow. I said, see, that's sad when a 20-something-year-old man is scared shitless of a 6-year-old, a naked 6-year-old. He's like, I don't see nothing, man. I don't know nothing. I don't see nothing. I don't get involved. He says, I don't know anything. I don't see anything. He put a lock in his. He took out an outside lock on his door, bedroom door. It's pretty funny. He said, Carl, I didn't talk to that fucking bloody soul in this house for one whole year. He says, not until the next Christmas did I feel safe enough to talk to somebody in this house. He said, I didn't talk to your kids. I didn't go near them. He said, I didn't go near mom. He said, I didn't go near dad. He said, I didn't go near anybody. He said, I was stuck here because I had to live here at this house. But he said, man, I don't want to get involved. He says, this is just too damn dangerous with a loose cannon like that kid. He said, well, God bless you, kid, because I did the same damn thing. I wouldn't go near those kids since they got back here from Alabama. I didn't go near them. I said, I don't want to get involved. I said, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what's going on with the kids. I ain't going near them until I know what the hell's going on. I said, until I get some notices to the state government saying that's my kids, and if I choose to do whatever I wish with these kids, state federal interest, a vested interest. I mean, I better not hear that I'm abusing, neglecting my kids. If anybody makes a claim, third party time. I knew I was going to have to do all those notices before I even approached my kids. And it sounds crazy, just like that I was going to have to make sure that everything like that was in place before I actually started making contact with my kids again, because my sisters and my nieces kept saying, look, your daughters want to have a relationship with you again. Your one daughter played softball. You played semi-pro ball. She wants to throw the ball around with you. I said, absolutely not. She said, well, why can't you just play catch with her? I said, you're out of your fucking minds. They said, well, just she wants you to be a dad. I said, nope, not until I get all these notices and until I get the Secretary of State to recognize that she is mine and they have no interest in that which is mine. And I said, absolutely not. I am not going there. I said, not if the state believes they have an interest in them. Absolutely not. I said, because they're going to say I did something inappropriately, and I am not dealing with it. I'm not going to jail like Frank did. I said, I'm not, but then Frank wasn't in jail. And they're like, that's ridiculous. You're not going to jail just to play catch with your kid. Oh, I said, oh, really? Is that what you think? And why is Frank in jail? Well, because he yelled at her in front of her boyfriend for chasing the chickens around on Halloween, and then he put locks on her window so she couldn't let the cats come in her bedroom anymore at night, the stray cats. That's why she's sitting in jail, because she's pissed. And she was told by other kids in school, this is how you get rid of grandma, grandpa, daddy, mommy. This is what you say. They touched you. As soon as you say they touched you, they will get rid of grandma, grandpa, daddy. They'll get rid of anybody in that house who's an adult. They'll get rid of any adult that's in the house that touched you. And like I said, it's a South Park episode. It's funny. They have old third graders, fourth graders walking around the school teaching each other, hey, mommy's making you eat peas, daddy's making you eat broccoli. Say mommy touched you. Say mommy molestated you. Molestated? Yeah, it's molestated or molestate, something like that. Just tell Mr. Mackey, the guidance counselor, that mommy molestated you, and he'll make mommy disappear. Well, daddy's making me eat Brussels sprouts. Well, say daddy molestated you too, and daddy will be gone too. So they actually made an episode about that, where they sent the moms and dads to a rehabilitation camp, and Hitler ran it. And that's exactly what they said about this New Jersey guy, that he would go to this rehabilitation center. It's kind of like a mental institution for people who abuse and neglect kids. And that way they wouldn't have to be in the general population of the prisons, where when we tell the general population that you raped a 4-year-old girl, well, we just have to say you did and not prove it. Guess what they're going to do to you? So it's just beyond cruel. So like Gus was saying that to me last night, he says, yeah, Carl, he says, what you're trying to accomplish, hopefully it's going to have so much effect on, hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of dads, terrified of going near their kids. Like my little brother Frankie, he's 35 years old, and he's like, there ain't no effing way. Well, he's 32 or 33. His birthday just passed. Sorry about that. I think he's 33. He said, there's no effing way I'm getting married and having kids. There is no way. He said, I am not doing it. And there's a whole, network of people Frankie's age. It's like Men Going Their Own Way Club. And he says, there is no way that we're going to get a woman pregnant. There is no way we're having children. There's no way we're going to be in total fear of mommy saying that we touched a 2-year-old baby girl or a 3-year-old baby boy. And mommy's pissed at us because we cheated on her. So she's going to throw us in jail for the rest of our life because she's going to rape the 3-year-old boy and say, Daddy did it, and we're going to go to jail. All these men who are 25, 35 years old saying there's no effing way. These women are getting too crafty. They're too evil. They're too conniving. We're not doing it. We're not going to jail for the rest of our lives. We're not doing it. Like that poor guy, he was 25, 35 years old man, whatever, who worked for Fox News down there in Jersey. And he's got to spend 20 years plus 1 day before he's even eligible for parole for allegedly having a 4-year-old girl touch him. Not that he touched her, that he allowed her to touch him. And the 4-year-old's like, I never touched no man. That's all baloney. And for some reason, the jury still found him guilty. I don't know how. Like I said, they got that jury convinced that this man should be put in jail for freaking ID. I said, there's no way in the world you're going to tell me that without a third-party impartial witness that that man allowed that girl to touch him. I don't care if the 4-year-old girl said she did do it. It's like, look, do you have an impartial witness? No. Okay. Then I can't believe either one is. Well, the little girl, she looks so cute and adorable. Look, not only is she cute and adorable, she could have been coached. And I'm sure she was coached for 4 years, and when she still took the witness stand, she said absolutely nothing happened. And the prosecutor said, well, regardless of what the 4-year-old, 8-year-old girl now said, when she was 4, she said. Maybe her mind, her memory's gone on her for the last 4 years. Oh, really? So you're saying her memory is gone, but at 4 years old, she was a competent witness to testify about a sexual encounter because she knew what the word sex meant at 4 years old. Really? So it's just mind-boggling, that some poor guy is sitting in jail for 20 years plus 1 day until he's eligible for parole. I mean, how many people just walk across the street, put a bullet in somebody's head, and you hear them out of jail for 3 years, and they killed somebody?
Yeah.
So they're getting guys totally scared shitless to go near a woman or go near a girl. You think when I was a kid growing up, I said, man, I can't wait. You know what? I'm going to have a girl. She's going to be interested in soccer, baseball, softball. I'm going to kick the ball around with her. I'm going to fly a kite. I'm going to play catch with her. No, no way. I'm not going near her. No way. Well, just play catch with your daughter. There is no fucking way. Well, I'm not going to jail. I remember, man, I was talking to my little sister Mary, and she was on the phone in New York. I was walking out here by my shop, and I was livid. I wasn't screaming at her, but I was yelling at her because she kept saying, Carl, just be part of their lives. I was like, there is no fucking way. And I got arrested, and I was livid. She said, no, they talk to me all the time. They know you live down there now, and they really want to see you, and they want you to be part of their life, and they want to go to movies with you, and they want to take a ride in your cars with you, and they want to play catch with you. I said, there is no fucking way. Tell them no fucking way. It ain't going to fucking happen. And she's like, but Carl, I said, look, Mary, it's a whole different world. When you were a little kid, because my little sister's 21 years younger than me, I used to put on a motorcycle. I used to take her to work with me all the time. I used to, I worked in a bowling alley bar. We used to bowl at midnight. I'd ride around in my old cars. We had a great time. I said, Mary, times have changed. You can't bring a little kid around with you anymore. You can't put him in your car. You can't take him bowling. You can't take him to the movies. You can't fly a kite with him. You can't do it. Why? Because somebody's going to say I did something inappropriately, and I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life, and I ain't going to fucking jail. And like I said, damn, I actually put little Mary on with these calls one time this week, and I said, Mary, tell me, did I sound a little upset to you? She was like, Carl, you were screaming at me. I was like, no, I was yelling at you. No, Carl, you were screaming at me. Well, okay, fine, I was screaming at you. What was I saying? There's no fucking way I'm going near those fucking kids. Not fucking prayer. Did I say this before your dad was arrested? Yes. Fine. You said you're scared shitless what the government's going to do to you going near a girl, near a woman. Yeah, exactly. The government is controlling totally. They're getting it down. That a guy's scared shitless to go near a woman, getting scared shitless to go near a girl. There's no fucking way. It ain't going to happen. Why? Not until I put a shitload of notices before the government said, you're looking at man. I am not your fucking citizen. I'm not your fucking resident. I have nothing to do with your societal order. I am not going to be at the lower end of the rung. I am not going to be at the bottom of the fucking ladder. I am not going to fucking be your servant. I am not fucking doing it. So I said to my little sister Mary, until I get all these notices out, I figured I was going to do it in November, December anyway. There's no way in the world. I said, I'm getting involved with these kids. No way. Until I make it crystal clear to all the legal societies, all the government institutions, there's no way that I'm going near those kids until I get confirmation from every single fucking one of them that I'm not a part of their legal community, I'm not a Virginia citizen, I have absolutely nothing to do with the United States government, I'm not an employee, I'm not a servant, I'm not a citizen, I'm not subject to any of your fuckers' controls. Is that crystal clear? And until I get confirmation from them, yes, we understand what you're trying to communicate. And you understand, I'm going to hold any man or woman liable who makes a claim that I am a resident, a citizen, a defendant, under their control, under their authority. Do you understand? I'm going to make that man or woman liable for compensation. Any accusation that they have any jurisdiction or control over me, I'm going to hold them personally liable. I'm not going to tolerate it. So I knew I was going to have to put all those notices in. So instead, when I put those notices with Virginia, I put a shitload of notices. I'm not a legal person. I am not a Virginia citizen. I have nothing to do with the United States government. I am simply man. When you see me, I'm appearing as man. I'm talking to you as a man. I'm not a defendant. I am not a resident. I am not anything but man. And I just let them have it. I hit them with everything I fucking had. I said, there is no fucking way I'm going down. And when I go down, there's no way in the world they're going to drag me into that court. I said, I gave you notice. I sent it to you. I've got the notices. I got the certified mail. I got the faxes. I got every damn thing. Like, don't think for a second, man, that I didn't make it crystal clear. You know, what my intent is and who I am and what I am and who you are and what you are. You know, you're my public servants. You know, you will serve me. I will not serve you. I'm not under your control. I'm not under your authority. I will not do it. You know, I refuse to submit to your jurisdiction and your control. I will not do it. There has to be a proper claim submitted. I will not answer to any complaints. I said, if you got a claim and I've done damages and you can prove it and you got a third-party impartial witness and you got firsthand testimony that it's true, you let me know. Until then, you better not come nowhere near me. You better not touch anything that's mine. If you do, because you think you got a gun and you think you got the police or the state police to fucking come and take it, that's fine. I'm still going to hold you liable. And you're still going to compensate me until that property is restored. It's just that simple. You know, people are going to have to start doing that. People are going to start having to make, like, declarations to their secretaries of state's offices, wherever they happen to, you know, hail from at that particular moment in time, and start warning them, look, I'm man. I don't want to get involved. I want to be let alone. I don't want no more help. I don't want no more aid and assistance. I want no more benefits. I'm doing just fine without you.